Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Devil's Night, Cabbage Night tonight. You do that tradition?
Cabbage Night?
I was pretty sure he had 3 touchdowns in 3 out of 4 of those games.
Yeah.
Because I think I saw that on the Red Zone last week.
Cool. Evan's pants would be so tight it'd look like he's smuggling plums. Alex doesn't get the answer?
Well, I don't know if Alex would get this one. It was probably
Is it about
a little before his time.
grass-fed beef as opposed to free-roaming chicken?
It's about you guys being old and me being young.
That hurts.
That's a hey boomer.
Well, we'll see if she remembers this one,
Yeah,
though.
look at the little jog. Juts out a little
He's
bit
like,
there.
okay. Joe in Michigan. Denver has 9 home games this year and 8 on the road. It's actually less on the road.
I don't see any reason why they should be 28th in scoring. It's bothered me all week.
It's bothered them all week.
It really has.
Wasted talent. Wasted talent.
When I was watching their
Is
tape
there
the
no
last couple
bigger
weeks, I'm
tragedy
like,
in the world? A forward pass has to come from the hand.
You can't kick
I'm going to go on a limb without knowing.
You could shovel it.
Full disclosure,
That's from the hand.
I do not know the black and white rule in the book. I'm going to say that would be yes.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Tuesday here at Gillette Stadium. Patriots keep winning. It's good for business, good for the show. We love it.
We love it.
On top of the, in a tie for the AFC conference. Not just the AFC East, but we're tied for the best record in the AFC now. So
Correct.
things are coming up roses. It's Evan, it's Paul, it's me, it's Deuce, Matt and Alex in the booth. Talking Patriots, the deadline for the trades today at 4 o'clock.
The deadline for the trades.
Yeah.
It's today
Make
at
it
4
happen.
o'clock.
Right. Little breaking news, minor news. The Patriots signed, reportedly, Jerry Rice's son,
Yeah.
Brendan.
Brendan
Rice,
USC.
wide receiver.
Yeah. We
The
talked
practice squad.
Senior Bowl guy?
He might have been at the Senior Bowl. We kicked his name around during that draft, but has not had a great NFL career. Hasn't done much of anything.
Had
in the
12 touchdowns with USC, is that right?
league. Yeah.
Yep.
There's a good college player.
Yeah. Seemed like be an outside guy.
Speed? Any speed?
No, more like a contested catch, big body outside receiver.
All
Deuce's
right.
favorites.
So not something we should be like, oh, okay, he could
No.
help out while Booty's got the hamstring. No? Okay.
I
All
would
right,
not say
so
that. I
who
don't even
knows?
know if he's going to be signed to the active roster.
Has anyone heard anything? Any reports? Diane Rossini, Albert Breer,
Yeah, well,
Ben Volen, anybody?
Jacoby Myers on the move.
Where?
To Jacksonville.
I mean, as related to us.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
as
got
close
you
as we're
for that.
getting.
Yeah.
That's as close as we're getting, I think. Right now, at least.
I think this
we'll
might
see.
be the most overrated day on the NFL calendar.
Oh, yeah.
And I blame us. Like I
Draft.
Ah,
stop it. I blame us.
Day 3 of
I
the
do
draft.
because we have trade deadline specials and countdowns and this and that and the other thing. It's this is not the NBA. You're not Luka Doncic of the NFL is not getting traded today. Jacoby Myers might be the biggest name that gets traded today. Yeah, he honestly might. And that's not a knock on Jacoby. It's just you hear some of these names, Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, Jalen Waddle. None of these guys are going to get traded.
Yeah. Probably not. Good to see the
Maybe Hendrickson.
linebacker.
I know. I mean, if you're the Bengals,
Yeah, well, they already unloaded.
you're going to lose them, and you're going to get nothing.
I understand. Every year we do this with the trade deadline, and every year it's depth pieces,
I know.
Keon Whites
I
and
know what
Kyle
you're saying.
Duggars and those types of players.
And you're not okay with that.
What do you mean?
Does that bother you?
It bothers me how much attention it gets.
Okay. But you don't wish it was I wish we were in the mix and
no
trying to get
a bunch of
you don't
trades?
care. Okay.
No.
I
like the
just wanted
NHL
to,
trade deadline.
we're talking about a third pass rusher, a third running back, maybe depth at linebacker. Those are the spots that are getting moved right now, not frontline players that are going to help the Patriots win a Super Bowl.
That's why I kind of like the NHL because it's built in that some star players will move and you just accept
all
it
other sports.
Is it? I mean, I
The
don't,
other three
I don't really
sports,
follow
you
the
can
other,
have different.
with
I know
soccer.
you don't know
What are you
about
talking about?
you would know
Volleyball?
about basketball
mean-
if Evan drew you a diagram.
He doesn't know if it's blown up or stuffed. Paul.
But baseball, hockey, and basketball, their trade deadlines involve like impact moves for all three sports that will potentially lead to championships. And I kind of agree with Evan. I don't really think the NFL has that. You'll get a lot of moves. You know, we probably should mention Jalen Phillips also moved over the weekend as a guy who I think Patriots fans sort of wondered about. Edge rusher for Miami. He went to Philadelphia for that might be the highest impact move. A team that is going to be in the playoffs in Philadelphia that was looking for edge help, but you're not going to get like. You look at some of the moves that like the Blue Jays made that propelled them to the World Series.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Jalen Phillips is going to be the difference between the Eagles going to the Super Bowl or not.
Do you think part of teams' reluctance for doing deals with high-end players in the middle of the season is like fan perception? Like, you know, if we're the Bengals and we trade Hendrickson, our fans are going to be like, "You've given up. Why should we, be behind you?" Do you think there's any of that? Like,
I think
how
it's
we're going to
more
be perceived by the fans?
Maybe, but I think it's more about in football, it's much harder to get a player onboarded than it is in other sports. Sign a player in free agency or you trade for a player in the offseason, you have OTAs, mini camp, training camp, preseason. You have this whole buildup of how to get that player integrated into your system, integrated into your scheme, that sort of thing. Whereas when you trade for a guy at the deadline, they are basically going to get a crash course on your offense or your defense, and you're going to get thrown in there. So
Right,
I think there's more reluctance to move.
And I could see that if the guy's
impact
just a
players.
rental for the year. But if you have intention of re-signing him and making him a long-term part of your team, I mean, it would behoove you to do it.
I think that high-end players in general, teams want to hold on to them.
Right.
Like not necessarily because of the message it sends. Like
Right.
like if you're Cincinnati.
So what's the difference now? So I get him now, and he's not up to speed, but now I have the whole offseason with him.
Oh no, I understand your point about acquiring him.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the team that deals him. You said you think teams don't do that because the message that it might send.
Right.
I think teams don't do that because they want to keep their high-end players. Like if you're Cincinnati, okay, they're probably out of it at 3-6. But do you just roll the dice that maybe we can finish strong and maybe we can convince him to re-sign?
Maybe.
And if he doesn't, and he signs a big money deal elsewhere. If it's like $20 million, you get a third-round compensatory pick.
Yeah.
For holding on to him. Now you
guess.
have to wait a year to get that pick, but
Right.
you might look at it and say, is that worth the risk of me? I want to keep this guy. I don't want to trade him willingly. I want to try to re-sign him again.
Okay. If that's the intention.
I don't know that the
Yeah.
Bengals will do that. They
Right.
had all offseason to re-sign him. He wanted a new deal, and they didn't do it. So
Right.
I'm not telling you that's going to happen, but if I were a team, that's how I would go about it.
just
I'd
have a
hold
lot
on to
more
my good players
flexibility.
as long as I could.
Yeah, I guess if you think that there's hope, why not hold on?
Well,
to
you
them?
just have a lot more flexibility in the offseason. Like, I don't know if Trey Hendrickson in this renegotiation, he might have negotiated that he can't get tagged at the end of the year. I don't know if he did or didn't, but, you have things like franchise tags. You have, more power, I think, over the
think you did.
over the player in those situations. And if you're the team like the Bengals, to further Paul's point, like Joe Burrow's going to be back next year. And then they're right back in contention immediately as soon as he steps back on the field.
But
So-
I think the Bengals have indicated they would entertain a first-round pick for him.
Right, if you get blown away by an offer, but
But it's
I
funny
just
because they
don't
wouldn't
think it
pay him
happens.
that money. Like they don't want to pay him an extensive salary, but they'll take a first-round pick for him, right? Like it's just the disparity is the player being like, you're kind of holding me hostage, saying, well, we're not going to pay you that much, but if somebody else wants to do it, we'll let them.
And I meant more, like I used Hendrickson just as an example because he's up. But I mean in general, like I think Miami would have to be blown away to trade Jalen Waddle. Miami wants to keep guys like Jalen Waddle. You know what I mean?
It's hard for a team like the Patriots to thread the needle of a player who's maybe still on a rookie deal and has maybe has a year left and is in a position that you really need, and then you're going to bring him in and he's going to love it here. And, it's more the case of like probably what's going to happen with Jacoby Myers in Jacksonville, that you'll bring him in. You hope that he likes Trevor Lawrence and that he likes the area, and then he's willing to, stick around.
Yep.
I just think there's a difference in sports. Like in all these other leagues, rentals are very popular.
Yeah.
Like going and trading for a guy for the rest of this season is very popular. In football, they don't view it that way.
Well, it's 9 games or 8 games.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're
yeah.
trading for a rental as a team like the Patriots, like let's use Trey Hendrickson, if they trade a first-round pick for Trey Hendrickson, you're really only trading a first-round pick for 9 games or 8 games of Trey Hendrickson.
Right.
You're not trading for any future term on the contract. So, like, you have to look at it from that standpoint, too, of a business standpoint. Is this really worth it to go all in on this season, on this player?
Unless you have a deal in place.
Yeah, if you were going to make that deal,
Right.
you'd have to say, I need permission to speak to
That's
his
right.
representatives, and we need to get the parameters of a deal.
Exactly.
They're not going to trade it for. I agree with 1,000%.
All right.
there.
So if anything breaks with trade,
Yeah.
the deadline for the trades, we'll certainly let you know. And
So-
of course, stay tuned to Patriots.com for any breaking news.
Jalen Phillips went for a third to the Eagles. Would you have been willing to give a third?
For who?
Jalen Phillips?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike would
I
have too. I'm going to guess Evan would say no. Not
I'm
looking
trying
for an
to
argument,
think
by the way.
about
One of the rare times.
what draft was he? 22?
He's up.
Yes.
He's playing right now on his 5th-year option.
Okay.
So it'll be a rental.
No. But
Yeah.
because of the rental aspect, like not because of the draft compensation. I guess I just don't really feel like they're in a position yet to be buying rentals and trading future
They're not
draft
that
picks.
close.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I would agree with that terminology. I would have done the move because I don't think the 3rd-round pick is out of the. I don't think it's too extravagant. But I mean, I understand Evan's point. I guess one of the things, and everybody has different opinions on this. I've heard a lot of this sort of, this super like cerebral. And I'm not suggesting that Evan's doing this because Evan's open to all of these moves, and we've talked the last 3 weeks, and Evan has been in on a lot of different guys. But there have been some of our colleagues that are really, the Patriots aren't in that spot yet. Like, don't derail. Like suddenly trading a 3rd or a 4th-round pick derails the whole process that Mike Vrabel and Ryan Cowden are trying to do.
You might
why?
get Kyle Williams.
And I would just say,
Yeah.
wow, that seemed like an unnecessary shot coming.
I'm
from
just
you.
saying, the 3rd round can be a real good player.
Well,
It
it could
can
be
also be a
Jared Wilson
crapshoot.
too. Now
It can be a
you could
crapshoot.
argue back the other way that that's another
Yeah.
Kyle Williams, but I'm
Right.
not going to make
But
that argument.
It can
now.
be a crapshoot.
So I would just say, like, why are we looking at it as they're not a player away? I would agree. They're in my mind's eye. I watch the team. I look at the roster. I don't think they're a player away from winning the Super Bowl. But I absolutely would have said the same thing about the 2001 Patriots heading into that play. They're not going to beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. They're not going to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden you do. Do you give that Super Bowl back because you really weren't a Super Bowl caliber team?
Yeah.
It's a wide open race in the NFL in general. You have tied for the best record in the league. If you could make a move that could help you, I think you should be interested in that. I'm not telling you that the Patriots are going to screw this up and they're going to Breslow the trade deadline and not do anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I've heard a lot of people sort of say, no, the Patriots shouldn't be interested in that guy. Maybe like a backup secondary running back for a 6th or 7th round pick. You have all these 6th round picks. That seems to be the threshold that everybody has. And I've heard a lot of people saying this. And I don't understand why you wouldn't be interested in taking a run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of the cautionary tale. And again, I'm not looking to go down a road here, Ev, so don't get triggered.
No.
The cautionary tale of the Washington Commanders. Mm-hmm. What did the Commanders do wrong?
Yeah, they got hurt.
No, but I'm not even saying that. A lot of people, you and I included, thought that they were going to take a step back, natural progression. But so what did they do? Like they didn't
Right.
mortgage anything.
Right. I'd still do what they did to get whatever they did to
But they
do
didn't.
what they did last year. I'd still do it.
Quote
I mean,
unquote,
they
they didn't
traded-
go all in.
They
Right.
traded for Marshawn Lattimore at the deadline last year.
No, I know, but like, what did they trade for him?
I don't remember
Like,
exactly,
Was
but
that
that
like
was-
How is that hurting them this year?
Well, he
'Cause he's
hasn't,
not
he hasn't
good.
played well, and now he's
no,
off.
but
Now he's
what
off
I'm
for the
saying
year.
is like
Didn't
whatever
they-
they gave up.
It didn't age
That's
well.
my
That's
point.
the problem.
My point is they didn't mortgage the future to
Right.
make some moves.
Right.
And they went to the NFC Championship game. What if they had won the NFC Championship game and won a Super Bowl?
Right.
That just as easily could have happened.
Right.
Like, I just don't think, like, the cautionary tale of the Commanders says what you think it says.
Right. Yeah.
I think the cautionary tale is they weren't that good.
Yeah.
You're probably not either.
Yeah.
So why not strike while the iron's hot? You're playing really well. You're going to win a bunch more games coming down the stretch because you're playing teams that you're better than. Take a run.
Yeah.
I'm just not a big fan of Jalen Phillips. Like
No,
that was more.
That's
in
why
the
I didn't
vacuum.
use any individual
Right,
as
but,
examples.
but I just, to me, I think there's a big, like, term is a big factor. Like, if you're trading for a true rental, I'm not that interested in giving up a top 100 pick for a true rental. If you're trading for a player that has term on his contract, Jalen Waddle's under contract. So if they end up trading, make a huge splash and trade for Jalen Waddle, like, that is going to be for the next 2-3 years that you're going to have Jalen Waddle on this team, which would be a good move.
Yeah.
But if you're trading a top 100 pick for a player that's going to be up at the end of the year and is going to hit free agency, I just don't know if that's the best use of that asset.
And that to me is a balanced discussion of it. Not like, no, I'm not doing it because we're not there yet, which is what I'm hearing a lot of.
Yeah. Well, what if it's not a hugely impactful player, but it's a solid depth piece at
Well,
a
what are you
position
giving
that
up?
day need?
Absolutely, you should do it. If
Day
but
three
that's-
pick
that-
kind of stuff.
That's
You
the
know?
only thing that any of the writers are interested in.
Yeah.
And I'm painting with a broad brush. I'm
Yeah.
sure that not everybody
No,
is
that's what I
feeling the
mean,
same way, but I've heard a lot of our colleagues
the
sort of
scribes.
they're talking like that. Like, no, the Patriots shouldn't be interested in Jalen Phillips or like this, these kinds of guys that are, these big names that are being sort of, I don't even know if they're available, like Jalen Waddle. Like, no, Patriots shouldn't. No.
Well, that's
No,
all.
they're not there yet.
that
I'm like,
one's silly.
Well,
why?
that whole thing is often, prefaced with they feel like they're ahead of schedule. This is year one. They want to continue to build it their way. They don't want to give up
Yeah, year
assets. Like,
five.
do you? I mean, but no, and that's. I mean, and I'm just bringing up as I think it's an interesting way to look at it. Of like, I get your point, Paul. We talked about it all the time. Of you never know the year where a couple people upset in the playoffs, and you've actually got a real chance to go. But at the same time, are you going to be able to thread the needle and get a guy that can maybe stick around, or are you?
Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't give
where the
I'm
anything-
not
debate is,
suggesting that they should be like giving away all their first and second round
Right.
picks. Like, I'm not saying that.
They
I'm
got 2
just saying.
fourths next year. That's interesting.
I'm just
to
saying,
me.
have an open mind and assess
Right.
where you might be. I just look at the landscape of the league. I think there are a lot of good teams in the league. I think the Eagles are good. I think the Lions are good. I think the Chiefs and the Bills are good. But I don't think anybody's great this year.
No, and
I don't
if-
think
and if-
anyone's great.
if you can pick up somebody who can be part of that building process, and you think that the player's good, yeah, you should look into it. Absolutely. I don't like the whole rental idea either. If it's
No, Evan
if it's,
makes a
if
lot of
it's
good
anything
points
more
about
than
the
a
rental and
fourth
the
round
term.
pick or whatever. But if it's a first or second round pick, it's got to be somebody who I think is part of that building process and can help me now. I
Right.
think then I'll think about it. Absolutely.
But then, going back full circle back to like Trey Hendrickson, like you're trading for like a 31-year-old pass rusher. So
you have to
it's
weigh
all-
everything.
right? Like, so all these age, contract,
Sure.
Term in the contract, all these different types of things, I think are. I'm not necessarily saying that it should or it shouldn't, but this is what teams weigh. Like, teams don't like play fantasy football with draft picks and just start sending draft picks out for players that are players that are name brands. Like, they think about contract term, they think about age, they think about how it fits into the nucleus and in the long-term view of the team. And Mike Vrabel has said multiple times their 7-2 record will not determine what they do at the deadline. They're not going to overextend at the deadline because they're maybe a little bit better than they thought they were going to be.
Sure.
There's another angle of it to me, and that is protecting Drake. Not just about how's the team going to do, but you're on your third string running back now. If he goes down and you're trying to get through November and December with a fourth, fifth, sixth running back, it's going to just allow teams to tee off on Drake. I'd say an investment right now in a running back, or trying to pad that room a little bit to make sure that you have some depth so that it doesn't go into a game where you've got the corpse of Steven Jackson out there and Drake May's going to have to drop back 40, 50 times maybe, depending on how the game unfolds. So I think there's an element to me too of protecting that side of the ball, and to a lesser extent, the defensive end position. In some regard, I feel like the Patriots are already playing with house money this year. They are going to make the playoffs, with the team as currently constituted. But I don't want to get there and feel like you missed an opportunity because Harold Landry got hurt in week 15.
Yeah,
and now you got Elijah Ponder get thrown into the fire, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, one of your guys last night, Paul, I was listening on the way home, Joe Murray, and I agree with him. He said, this season's already a success. It's already a success. I agree.
I think there's going to be nuance to it, and things can still happen.
There's a lot of. I'm not trying to play that
generally
side of the road,
speaking,
but there's a lot of negative things that could happen over the last half of the season to make this not.
If
the season ended today, if somehow
the season ended today, I would say it's a success.
If somehow the league had to be canceled for whatever, this season has been a success.
Correct.
Yeah, but I agree with General Paul's point though that a lot of twists and turns can happen that you don't really know, but assuming that things go forward as they've kind of been, I think it's a very good chance that you're going to come out of this season feeling, very positive, and the way more positive end than
we got our quarterback and we got our coach.
So this is what I'm glad that you said it exactly that way.
Thank you, Paul.
What if the second half of what we saw on Sunday is what we see the next 8 weeks
with Drake? Ups and downs.
Well,
I don't feel quite the same about the season.
Yeah, I'd have to know the context.
But admittedly, that is an unbelievable extreme that I'm not expecting
if he
in
melts
any way,
down
shape, or
and we have a lot of 3-point halves, then
But that's all I'm saying. Is there's a lot of things that could happen over the last 8 weeks of the season that could change your opinion. Right now, wild success.
Okay.
Your quarterback looks like a stud.
Good segue into lingering thoughts from the game on Sunday.
Well, I just, Deuce bringing up the run game, and I do think there are cracks showing in the Drake May foundation right now with his game that you're asking him to elevate a lot of things right now on this offense, and as the competition has gotten a little bit better, at least for the defenses that he's going up against, he's going to face another good one in Tampa Bay on Sunday. How much of that is really sustainable for 17 plus games to take a middling offensive line, middling receiving room, and be a top 5 passing offense in pretty much every metric, that without really a great running game. I think that's a lot of what we're seeing right now with Drake May he has filled a lot of holes on his own.
What's the outlook for Ramondre to be back?
I don't know. The way Vrabel answered it on Friday, it seemed like it's going to be a little bit. I mean, he didn't say he'll be out this week. We'll see, but I assume it's.
And I don't know this, but wouldn't you just assume he has turf toe?
Yeah.
Which seems to be the injury in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
Right.
And just look at the other guys that are getting turf toe and how long they've been out.
It's like 6 weeks minimum.
Right?
6 weeks.
Barlow's going to miss 3 months minimum. Purdy, they just recently, he was already missed about 6 or 7 games. I think Shanahan recently said that it's something he's going to have to deal with the entire season. It's not going to be 100%. So if he has turf toe, could he play in a week or two? Probably, but not. I don't expect him to be 100% the rest of the year. Now, I think it's worth it.
Can he pick up a blitz?
Correct. It's worth it for that because the other guy still worries me in that role, and I think he's getting better. I think Henderson's getting better at it, but I think some of the pressure on Sunday. I heard someone talking about this today, and I would like to credit them, but I don't know who it was. Mentioned that he was a little up and down in that regard.
Yeah, he gave up 3 hurries. One of them,
maybe it was Evan.
One of them led directly to a sack, but the other 2 were kind of slow deaths. Like he was getting bull rush and he was kind of holding on for dear life. And like
sometimes it ain't about winning; it's just about showing up.
I'll live with those for a running back against a linebacker. Giving up the size that he's giving up. But I thought in this game, they took 6 sacks, and I thought 5 of them were on Drake. There's open receivers, and he's just not seeing it or hesitating or doing the double clutches that we saw in the second half post strip sack, and all the numbers just kind of plummet after the strip sack compared to before.
So let's go into that. You say that there were open receivers on 5 of the 6 sacks.
Yeah.
Where was the pressure coming from? Where were his eyes in relation, and what was the timing of that? Because we've talked about this in the past. A lot of times on TV, they'll show you in one frame the quarterback, and then another frame a wide open receiver.
Yeah.
But the quarterback, there's no way, because of what was going on in front of him, that he had time to see that. So, in fairness, what was going on at the time of this open receiver?
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely would. I like to think I would not point out oh, look at this guy on the other side of the field that's open.
You insulted him a little bit.
No, I just wanted to explain it so that we make sure that he's not doing that.
So I'll just give a couple of examples. So there was a red zone sack, for example, that they had in the second half that they ended up having to kick a field goal. They got into 3rd and goal from the 13 after the sack, and they ended up kicking the field goal. So on the left-hand side, they're running a little bunch spot concept over on the left-hand side, and the Falcons have it boxed, so they have 4 defenders over 3 Patriots receivers. But on Drake's right, it's 2-on-2. It's man-to-man to the backside with Diggs, and Diggs is wide open on the slant.
We saw that one in real time.
He's wide open. And just from a quarterback read standpoint, which side would you rather work, the 4-on-3 side or the 2-on-2 side? So, just from a numbers, standpoint, you're taught to read the side that has the numbers advantage in favor of the offense. So, on that one, too, on top of it...
So, where were his eyes?
He started left, but he should have started right.
Okay.
He would have had Diggs. We saw it when we were watching the game. Both Evan and I were Diggs.
On that one, too, just to, further the point, Diggs gets matched up with Jesse Bates, who's a safety, in the slot. So on top of the fact that you're talking about numbers on, just matchups. From a read, you're also talking about matchups. When you have your best receiver against a safety, that should be automatic. This is where I'm going with the football. So that one is one example. The other example, he actually came back to the same concept and hit Diggs on the second read on his touchdown. But earlier on in the game, he stared down the initial read on the right-hand side. It was covered, and Diggs is over the ball, and he's just wide open, sitting over the ball. And Drake just kind of got hung up on the initial read. So he's going, that's just literally going 1 to 2. We're not asking him to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're just going 1 to 2. Now, to his credit, later on in the game, he did the exact same thing and hit Diggs, and Diggs made the guy miss and scored. So he did improve. They probably went back to the sideline, looked at the stills, and said, hey, if we get this again, if it's not open, Diggs has been open over the middle of the field.
In general, so the first example was a pre-snap read, making a decision, okay, maybe it called for me to look at this bunch, but I see this is now going to be my number one. On other plays where he is required to survey the field, how is he doing seeing the field?
I think he's doing a lot of 1-and-runs, which is what worries me. He's dropping back. He's looking at his initial read. If the initial read isn't there, he takes off. And that's been really going back to the Tennessee game now that he's been doing that. So what happens a lot to him is that he takes off, and this is the NFL. So those gaps close quickly on the line of scrimmage when he tries to run through the middle of the line. So he's trying to get out of the pocket, and then it closes in on him, and it's like a 2-yard sack, but it's still a sack. There was another one that, in this game that really was troubling to me, that he had Austin Hooper. They ran a 7-step drop from under center, which is becoming a lot more popular now, going all the way back, right, to, everything as old as new. And they ran a 7-step drop from under center, and Austin Hooper is just crossing over the middle of the field, and he is wide open. And Drake May just doesn't throw it. He just doesn't throw it. And then he runs up into the pocket and gets sacked.
Why do you think he didn't throw it?
Only he can
Did
answer
he see
that.
him?
I mean, he's right over the
I
middle
know,
of
but
the
where
field.
were his eyes? I don't, I don't know.
What do you mean? It's right over the middle of the field. Like his eyes are right on it. I don't know. I can't.
Do you know that?
Yeah, you can see it. Like you can see
Okay.
where he's looking.
Okay,
Like,
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, and it's a levels concept right over the middle of the field. You have the short, and then you have the deeper one, and that's you're right, in the middle of the field. And that 7-step drop under center, like you're not looking to hang out back there. Like that's supposed to be designed to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands when he hits the top of the drop. So it's just these are instances that keep happening with him on tape that only he can answer to why exactly he's not making these throws. Like I can't sit here and tell you why these things are happening, but to his credit, on 6 of the sacks, they ended up getting first down after 4 of them because he's getting them into 3rd and long by taking sacks.
And another part of that is what you mentioned briefly is that he, I don't know what the number is, but a good number of his sacks come when he's climbing the pocket and can't get through. So it's like a 2-yard sack.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think the strip sack notwithstanding, that was a big loss. Even if he had held onto the ball, that would have been a 10+ yard loss. But a lot of times it's around the line of scrimmage where he gets sacked. So you're not like disaster.
Yeah.
He's just taking so many hits. I mean, that's
the
the thing.
bigger
That's
thing
what's
to me.
hard. It's like,
Yeah.
is this sustainable?
I
He
just
needs
worry
to be
about-
able to deliver the ball.
Like to me, like there's a difference between like 1-and-run quarterbacks and then like guys that really play quarterback and are sitting in the pocket and are progressing through reads and finding the open man and all that different kind of stuff. And he does that. Like I'm not saying it never happens. I just think that as we sort of get deeper into the season, he has the 3rd highest sack rate in the league right now among quarterbacks. He's taken the 2nd most sacks in total, and Cam Ward is 1. So that's a rookie that's ahead of him on a bad team. That's 1. He's 2. So when you get deeper into the season, we get into January, and they have a home playoff game against Kansas City, and they're in 3rd and 12 the entire game. That's a tough way to live.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be able to do that against better teams.
I'd be interested, Evan, your opinion, because Paul and I on the post-game show, we talked a lot about this was what Shaky Drake looked like this summer. And, on the show I said he wasn't MVP Drake May this summer. Like it was a little bit more uncertain up and down. I talked about Minnesota too, but, that we talked about the pump, and you can just, you wrote about it and after further review too, like that's when he's just not seeing it. So
The lack of conviction.
Yeah.
Some of those
not
plays.
trusting it.
Yeah.
Not trusting it.
Well, even the interception, like he pumps. He does like that little double clutch that drives everybody nuts. And I think the reason is that he was throwing to like a space in the middle of the field, but Hunter Henry was actually correctly running the route. And so he hesitated because I don't think he really fully was 100% sure Hunter Henry was going to see it the same way. So he kind of like does like a little hitch in his throw, like where it's like, yeah, right. And like that was all second half from the strip sack on. Just
and so that's
hesitation.
That was like my next
double-clutching.
point is this, are we seeing a turning point there? Which we all, you said it. Turnover happens, strip sack, big play, and now he kind of loses it.
Well, so far, when we've seen things like that in games, the next game he's kind of corrected it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I'm sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I go back to what Evan said about the Tennessee game. That was
Same
the game
thing.
he started running around.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't want him to stop running.
But don't confuse running with running
know.
around.
I know.
It's not. It's kind of like the whole.
Yeah.
He starts, but he's not necessarily a starter. Like
It's
you can
just,
run with a purpose,
Yeah.
or you can just run around into sacks.
I know
and
that-
drift into pressure.
I know that the PFF grades probably will argue with me, but I do see that pressure's coming, that the sack is getting smaller.
Stunts, I think, are bothering them.
Yeah.
They have, I would say, I said 5 of the 60 shares in the blame in. Like part of that is like you can't get strip sacked, right? But the sack was not his fault. Like the sack was good coverage down the field on when who gets beat on the stunt. There's no place for him to go. So the only like negative there for Drake May was just fumbling.
Security, ball security.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's not on him. But like I just think you're on a slippery slope when you start 1-and-run. Like when you start, if it's not there, I'm breaking the play down.
Yeah.
where there's open receivers if you just progress past the first read, not just from a physical standpoint of taking hits, but also just putting the offense into behind the sticks types of situations where you're trying to always get back on schedule.
I got the sense in this game that in the first half, like Drake was feeling it. Like things were working out, and like it was almost like I'm doing really good. And then, like you said, Evan, the strip sack happened, and it rattled him.
Yeah.
It kind of brought him back down to earth. But
Absolutely.
I think up to that point in that game, he was kind of smelling himself.
Oh, yeah.
So he
He
was
was like,
he's gonna run away
I'm
with
a
it.
little bit
He was-
invincible here.
He was
He
very
was-
good in the first.
He
Yeah.
was 9 for 13, 157 and 2 touchdowns
yeah,
before the strip sack.
yeah. I mean, he was
12 yards in attempt.
and then that happened, and it was like, oh, you
Right.
know,
Well, if it's
you mean
24/7,
I can't beat everybody.
Right. If it's 24/7 at half, like, it doesn't,
You're
you know,
probably looking at a third straight,
Right.
you know,
Walk away
winning,
win.
Yeah, winning going away.
Yeah.
And he even made, I mean, that throw to Diggs in the second half, even in the rattled half, quote unquote.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you still see the ability.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
that was a 3rd and 12, unbelievable throw.
And that seems to be the theme coming out of it is they had this bad second half, but yet they were still able to do just enough to hold on to the win. And in that last drive, Vrabel had the confidence to say, just go win the game. And he did make the pass, and they got the first down, and it's ball game. So, you know, people aren't freaking out. But
yeah, I'm glad that they did that because that's what teams should do.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they didn't get spooked because it wasn't going great for the quarterback. You have to still do the right thing.
right.
And I'm sorry, and I know that people think this is a controversial thing. I think the right thing to do when you have the lead and the ball at the end of the game, your goal should be to not give the ball back to the defense.
Right.
Not to run it into the middle of the line and run clock. Your goal should be to get first downs.
Yep.
And the best way to get first downs in that league, in that situation, is to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And you can throw it safely. Like
Yeah.
if it's
They
not
did
that-
throw it
like let's
safely.
just say for argument's sake, number 40 gets over and gets up and jumps the route on Hunter Henry and he can't throw it. Well, Drake's not just going to throw it away
Right.
and stop the clock. He's going to run.
Right.
And he probably isn't going to get the first down, but the clock's going to run
Sure.
and you have to punt.
Yeah.
And even in the end,
But that's a hard play for number 40.
even that last drive for the Patriots in the first half, I heard a lot of people just run it and end the
No.
clock. No, you're a good team. Try to get
Oh,
three.
the first half?
Yeah, in the first half.
Didn't love the way they handled the end of the first
See,
half.
I was fine with it. Go for points.
They didn't. That's what I wanted to do.
Oh,
I wanted to get into a 2-minute drill. You know why they got into a 2-minute drill?
what do you
Because
mean they
Raheem
did?
Morris called back-to-back timeouts.
I thought
they were going to run the clock out.
they were throwing the ball.
No. Drake, like one of Evans' things, kind of just quickly ran to the sideline, slid in bounds to keep the clock running. They were content to run the clock out. And Morris called
Well,
back-to-back timeouts.
I think that was an option, but I think they wanted
they
to
were
get
very
points.
conservative on that drive until the 2 timeouts. Then they converted the 3rd down,
Yeah.
and then they tried to get points.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then they
well,
tried
maybe
to
not
take
the
a shot
sequence,
at-
but it's not
yeah.
like they weren't. Their intention was to try to double dip.
Their intention was to run the clock out. Raheem Morris called 2 timeouts to say, all right, well, we got to try to get a first down on 3rd down. Here we go.
Well, I don't
They
think.
didn't want to give the ball back to Morris.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think that
They were very conservative on the first 2 plays.
maybe it's conservative play calling, but not to the point where their intention wasn't to score. I think it was to get in field position to put on.
Well, I don't know
points.
why you wouldn't run out of bounds then
Yeah.
Is a,
on that run. You're
Well, you
clearly
wanna-
trying to keep the clock
sometimes-
running.
No, but sometimes you want to do it both ways. You want to score points and not leave them time.
I hear what you're saying. I think that especially the first down run is usually a dead, like Josh McDaniels. We're going to try to get some cheap yards
Right.
here. We're going to run some clock. Yeah, no, that's
Right.
that's a classic one of his that he normally does in those situations. But I'm glad you mentioned the throw to Diggs in the second half
Loved that throw.
because it wasn't all bad. I mean, that throw's insane.
That was a great throw.
And the fact that he ripped it tells you that it wasn't like totally in his head at that point, that he, wasn't really totally, completely unraveling.
He was throwing it to a
so-
spot.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, to hit that window is insane.
I just say, if anyone's listening and getting triggered that we're talking negatively about Drake, he didn't go on the bad list. He didn't go on the good list.
Yeah, we
for
didn't
us
put him in the
post
bad. I
game.
thought he made too
We
many
just
good
had him
plays in the
middle.
game to go on the bad list.
Yeah, it's funny because, this was my lowest graded game for him since the opener, but he still basically was a winning quarterback. Like, and so like his bar has just been set so high. His QBR was 50.5. So like he was right in that middle, right? So it wasn't like there was no plays in this game. I mean, the touchdown throw to Pop Douglas is, you could have watched that thing 10 times.
And to think that he wasn't going to have a game like this, or maybe more than one, during the stretch is unreasonable. I mean, he's still a very young quarterback who was just really having played a full set of games for a season.
Yeah.
What is this like? His
22nd
game,
something like that.
I think it was 22nd. I have a question for Evan. I love when that happens. Do you feel like teams are adjusting to him and teams are starting to get a beat on what he's doing and starting to adjust now as he gets more of a sample size? And is it not just Drake kind of reverting to some of his old ways? Is it somewhat the defenses and opponents are realizing?
Well, that's the other thing. I think that's a good point. You have to give some credit to other teams too.
Yeah, I was gonna actually go there, Fred, because this Falcons defense is the number one pass defense in football coming into this game.
Right.
Drake had the most passing yards of any quarterback against this defense all season, and that includes Josh Allen.
Yeah, Tua lit him up last week, though.
He had, but
I think he had 200 yards and 4 touchdowns or something like that.
So, they just very good pass defense, very good scheme. They really shut down pretty much everybody that they've faced all year long, and they won some rounds. And, one of the things that they started to do after Pop's 58-yard crosser is they started cutting the crossing routes in the middle of the field. So instead of trying to run with him in man-to-man, they started putting a safety right on the crosser. And if it was a crosser, the corner would fall off Pop and pass it to the safety.
Yeah.
So they did that a handful of times as the game wore on. They did it on the strip sack and they did it on the pick. So both instances were crossing routes where they thought they were going to get post safety or man-to-man coverage with the safety up top. And in both instances, they cut the crossing route in the middle of the field, and it caused issues for the Patriots. So the Falcons adjusted within this game. I don't know if I'm starting to see week to week, like big picture adjustments like Deuce was kind of talking about. But Atlanta deserves a lot of credit defensively in this game.
Yeah.
The Patriots had them on the ropes for like a quarter and, really almost 2 full quarters until the strip sack. And then they made some adjustments and they were able to kind of get a beat on what the Patriots were doing.
You draft Knicks, Mike and Evan. What can you tell me about Billy Bowman?
So he's a nickel safety, a good player, scrappy.
Because clearly they've missed him.
Yeah.
Because the Falcons have these gaudy numbers. He missed the last 2 games, and they haven't been anywhere near as good as they were. So I'm not saying it's one, down to one guy. I know Zach Harrison being out.
Yeah, right.
Is probably their best front 7 player, and he's been out the last couple of games too. But in terms of the secondary, I wonder if maybe they're scrambling and it's taking them a little while to.
So they,
catch up.
To that point, they picked on Mike Hughes a little bit, but they really picked on D. Alford, who is Billy Bowman's replacement in the slot.
Alford was the guy I noticed a lot. Now, he made a good play early, but I thought he got really badly beaten on that play initially, and the throw was a little late. Then they went back to those deep shots that, I guess they were over. Would you call them a deep over? What would you call the route there?
So it depends.
I don't want to rankle the feathers of the AT&T crowd.
Each of them are kind of a little bit different, but they have like 3 different iterations of that route. So one of them they just call a beeline, which is literally just run a straight line across the field.
Well, that was working because Pop was open 3 times on that.
Yeah. The one that you're talking about, the throwback, is like a corner post, right? So he's going to nod to the corner, then break on the post. It's the same route that he ran in New Orleans on his touchdown, and he got it. They got the safety on it again, but because Drake was rolling, it just like took a little bit longer for it to hit. And then they also have like different iterations of crossers where you're talking, shallow over, deep over. So like it depends on the exact concept of that they're running. But they like the beeline a lot with Pop because he's so fast. Just run. Like don't try to like sell anything.
Bubbling.
Yeah.
Just stay up.
Yeah, that part. Drunken sailor out there.
All right, 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast@patriots.com is the email address. Let's see what people have to say. On this Tuesday, it's Nate in Connecticut. What's up, Nate?
Hey, guys. Can you guys hear me well?
Yep.
Yeah.
So my question for you guys today is, next week we're headed to Tampa, I believe, and we're going to have pretty good game, I think. Two pretty good teams. And my question for you guys is, what do you think the biggest weakness going into the Tampa Bay game is? Obviously, Kayshon Boutte wasn't in the majority for the Falcons game, and I'm sure that played a big role. And, our secondary, I think, was a little iffy. And if I were Elliott Wolf, I think I'd probably make a move here at the deadline to get a defense player. On a side note, there's been some controversy or news about what people are calling Clapgate, where, yeah, I know. I think it's total BS.
Raheem Morris has come out now and said
he was going off of what his players told him.
Right.
Yeah.
He said that was on him. He was angry and he was listening to the
We
players.
have major NFL breaking news.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Nate. We'll answer your question in a second.
The New York Jets have traded Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts.
Now that's big.
Blockbuster.
That is big.
Sauce Gardner to the Colts.
That's huge.
So let me just add. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. That's the opinion. So the Colts are obviously looking at this and saying, we have a shot.
Yeah.
That's clearly was their biggest need. They've been looking for corners. Is that, I'm not saying that specific move. I'm not saying the Patriots should have been looking for Sauce Gardner. The Patriots have Christian Gonzalez.
Right.
That they're going to have to pay like Sauce Gardner next year.
Right.
So I'm not suggesting this individual thing, but that's the kind of move that I'm saying is we recognize we have an opportunity here. I don't know where they think they are in their rebuilding plan.
They probably
don't know.
feel like they even have their quarterback of the future.
Right.
Like, are you totally sold
So-
that Daniel Jones isn't?
Preach.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you never know when the year that you can make a run is going to happen.
Right.
So, like, is this a dumb trade for them? What did they trade?
Well, why don't
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
I'm refreshing. We don't know what they traded yet.
So they just signed him last year?
Yeah,
Is
so
that right?
so that's the difference, right? Is Sauce is under contract for the long term. So this is not a rental. This is they are going to have Sauce Gardner
Get him
for
out
the
of the
next
division.
4 years, I think it is.
And I would say,
Now, if you're a Jets fan,
This
you've
is really
probably
good.
already
Oh.
given up on the season. But
Yeah,
now,
by the
you're
way, it's
giving
really
up.
really good news for the Patriots. In all seriousness,
Yeah,
playing-
because we
well,
have to play them.
You're playing them
twice
in 10
next week.
days,
Right.
So you take obviously a very good player.
It
out of
always
that
works
defense.
out for the Patriots.
The Jets are in sneaky fire sale mode too. You know, we've heard a lot about Breece Hall. I saw something today that said that they would take a second-round pick, or probably won't get it for Jermaine Johnson. That's another guy. Now, again, I'm not talking specific to the Patriots. I'm just saying there's two teams in the division
Right.
that look like they're ready and willing to trade everyone.
Yeah.
In Miami and the Jets.
Crazy.
So the
But not to
trade,
us.
Maybe.
Schefter has it 2 first-round picks to the Jets for
Okay,
Sauce
so
Gardner.
2 first-round
All
picks
in.
is a lot.
Yeah.
Is a lot. Now, I'm not telling you it's a bad move, but what I hate is this move will be evaluated based on when and how the Colts are eliminated. And that's not how
Right.
it should be evaluated.
No, it shouldn't be.
Well, not because he's under contract, right? Like
No. Again,
I know it-
don't take
No,
these
but look,
things
they
personally.
No,
gave
I'm
up
not
2
taking it
first-round picks,
personally.
and they
You
didn't
actually
even
have a pretty open mind when it comes
I'm
to
not
this
taking
stuff.
it personally. I'm just saying like this move makes sense for the Colts because he's going to be a Colt. You know, like they're
Right.
trading.
Well, I mean, obviously they wouldn't give 2 first-round
Right,
picks
so,
for a rental.
I think he fits great in that scheme that they're running with
And
Big
they
Lou.
need corners.
But he has, in my mind, been like a teeny little bit overrated with the Jets.
He hasn't played as well this year.
Well, he's played well this year. He didn't have a great year last year, and supposedly the reason was he was trying to protect himself all year.
I like it for the Colts. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't have a lot of glaring holes, and I mean, the question to me really boils down to: so you're saying Daniel Jones is our guy? We're not
Well,
going to have to worry about
But not only
drafting
that,
a new
you're
quarterback
not
in
getting
the
the
next 2
quarterback
years.
with one of those first-round picks. You
Yeah.
might be able, like
Maybe not this year, but maybe if you stunk.
like
next year,
you're
you
not
would,
getting in the first round. You're going to be picking somewhere between 20 and 32, but 18 and 32. You're going to be in the playoffs.
Yep.
So you're one of the bottom 14 picks.
Yeah. Good offensive.
You're not
line,
getting a quarterback.
good receivers, young receiving core. All under contract. Good offensive line, good defensive line.
The Patriots were probably going to be heavily favored in both games against the Jets anyways.
Yeah,
But I was actually just watching Jets Bengals from a couple weeks ago, and Justin Fields looked like Lamar Jackson against that Bengals defense.
did.
And like, they're 1-7, but this is really giving up, right? Like this is really waving a white flag. So I just really wonder, I already kind of chalked those up to 2 wins anyways against the Jets, but like how much are you really winning those games now? Because if you're telling the whole organization that you're waving the white flag by trading Sauce, like
That's right.
that's like the Patriots trading Gonzalez, right?
Right.
And kind of sending that message like last year.
You are
Like,
correct.
I mean, when Fred,
I
you said,
agree.
how do the fans feel for the Jets? I'd be sick. I mean, this is a super talented
Fireman
guy.
Ed's going to give up again. I emphasize.
They're going to completely
fraud.
just start over again. I mean, that's the signal to me
But
as
I
a
do
Jets
kind of
fan.
like the trade for the Colts.
Yeah,
Oh,
me too.
yeah.
Me too.
but I just wonder,
I love
like,
it. If you're a Colts fan,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
ready to go.
See?
if
I'm
you're
starting to
Garrett
hate the Colts
Wilson,
again.
like, what are you
It's good.
thinking now? Like, if you're Garrett Wilson, because they both signed their extensions at the same time, same draft class.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
both
man.
signed their extensions and
Poor
locked
Garrett-
in,
Free Garrett Wilson.
and now they're 1-7.
I'll take him.
I mean, geez.
2 first-round picks?
No.
Okay.
No.
But you wouldn't take him then. I'm going to guess he's going to go for the same kind of compensation if they
Yeah.
traded him.
Yeah.
Oh, we got one more other trade.
Oh, boy.
Not as big as the Sauce Gardner trade, but Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks.
That's a guy who some people kicked around for the Patriots.
Yeah, so Saints wide receiver,
I like that for
big
them.
time speed, big time deep threat.
Yep.
Like kind
Something.
of like a bigger Pop Douglas.
I
Like,
like that one too. I
Yeah.
mean, I was just telling Ev, I just watched that Seahawks Bucks game, which was crazy. JSN, that kid is playing out of his mind right now. So now you get some speed on the outside with Shaheed, maybe help him out a little bit. Seahawks
And
going for it.
the Seahawks are another team.
They are.
Like they're making a run.
They are.
Yeah.
Darnold's the
On
MVP.
top of their division.
Yeah. Darnold probably going to be the MVP if he
If
keeps
it
it.
Yeah.
ended today, probably would be the MVP.
Yeah.
It's just the
crazy.
numbers he's putting up are absolutely.
It's almost
ridiculous.
a similar
Video game
situation with the Colts where they bring in another guy. They didn't
Yeah.
really have the quarterback. They
And got
bring
rid
in
of
a
DK
guy from
Metcalf.
another team, and he's playing really, really well.
So the Vikings had Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, both on their team,
so crazy.
and ended up with JJ McCarthy.
So that's
Good job,
interesting
Minnesota.
stuff. Christian's in LA. What's up, Christian?
Christian.
Hey, you guys. Happy Tuesday to you guys, and I hope everyone out there in Patriots land goes out and vote like a real patriot because it's important to make your voice heard. Okay. So about the last game, I just want to talk about the end of the game first and say that decision by Vrabel to throw the ball typifies something that I've always said a million times. Good teams throw the ball and execute. Bad teams run the ball and hope. That's something that I made up that I always say.
Yes, I remember. I read that you made that
Matter of
up.
fact, I took it from you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Bill Walsh quoted you in his book.
Well done, Christian.
Yeah.
I got it.
But seriously, and on the football, I think as far as the team trading goes, I'm actually with Paul in the sense of saying, if not now, when? We are, in my estimation, a season ahead of schedule as far as our progression of Drake and the way the team is playing and the amount of wins that we've already got. So with being a season ahead, let's treat it as if we are. And next season, if we were in this position with everything to be gathered, will we go for it a little more? I say the answer is yes. And then I say, if we're going to do that, and here's my question to you guys. To me, the easiest position to bring on board mid-season is a elite pass rusher, like a hands-in-the-dirt edge guy that's just pass rushing. Secondly, would be a rangy or good linebacker. The reason why I say that pass rusher is his playbook isn't that deep, I don't believe. I think it's just go get the quarterback. Certain schemes drop out, but for the most part, his job is just go get the quarterback. And so let's make a run. Let's make a splash. Let's get a splashy edge guy to rush and a rangy linebacker, and I think we are actually there.
Okay.
I'll take it off the air, guys. Have a great
All right.
Tuesday.
Thanks, Christian.
I agree with him. Pass rush is the easiest thing to translate.
It would certainly be at the
Running
top
back,
of the
maybe.
list.
More so
you know.
than running back?
Yeah, because running back,
At least the pass protection
right.
Yeah,
stuff
they
with
have
running backs.
rules.
but I would say linebacker might be one of the hardest.
I don't agree with them on the rangy
'Cause
linebacker. Not only
yeah.
the lack of availability of those
You got to
players,
know
but
you got to know the calls.
you gotta
and all
know
that.
Although,
run, pass.
I will say,
you
like,
know everything.
pretty impactful trades.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that
Yeah.
I mean that it's not going to get the the attention of Sauce Gardner, but Rashid Shaheed for
No.
Seattle is a
These are two
Great
teams that just
complimentary
traded
move for
away
great compliment and
good players on their team.
maybe take
Yeah.
away take away some of the burden off of JSN, who's done everything
he's-
for that passing attack.
Phenomenal.
I pointed out just to highlight. I mean, Evan said it when JSN was coming out, and I asked Evan, I'm
we
like,
loved
didn't
him.
you say this? It was like the Brian Hartline said at the time that he's the best of all those Ohio receivers. So he looks like it.
Brian and Lowell.
Yeah.
Brian,
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey,
Hey.
Brian, what's going on today?
did you have a good game?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think about that win, huh? Oh my God,
So
I was
good.
nerve-wracking in the
Love
end,
it.
man.
Yeah, that's great.
By 1 point. Oh,
1 point, that's it.
The Atlanta,
Romo got cut today.
Did he?
yeah, Atlanta, the kicker missed the extra point.
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah, that was something, huh?
Be seeing
Where
him no
were you
more.
when that happened?
Oh, I was at home as usual and watching it.
A lot of people coming in and out again.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did
Yeah,
you
I
do
guess-
when
I guess
Parker
for-
Romo missed that kick? Did you jump out of your seat?
Oh yeah, God, yeah. I was like, whoo, what a relief that was.
Huh.
That was a relief.
Oh,
I was like so relieved. Oh my
it
God.
was great.
Well, I heard you just hear about Clapgate. This Clapgate.
Yeah, you heard about. I heard about it.
In
Yeah,
that game, like,
yeah.
Can we talk about
Come on,
Clapgate for
we're
a
so
second?
Well, I mean, you know the Patriots are back when
said
you're
you
getting
weren't gonna
accused
do
of
it.
cheating. But thanks for the call, Brian. Appreciate it.
I just, as a ball knower, I just think like I would just like to mansplain silent count for a second and just kind of explain what happened. So if you watch the play, well, let's start from the beginning. When you watch the play, the Falcons motion a receiver from the left to the right side of the formation to create a 3-by-1. So Jalen Hawkins is in the back. They go 3-by-1, and he's trying to get Carlton Davis's attention to change the coverage because of the different formation. So he does go like this to Carlton Davis to try to get his attention. So what happens when you're on the road and you have silent count is a lot of teams will have the guard, whether it's the left or the right guard. In this case, it was the right guard. He will look back to the quarterback. The quarterback will have some sort of nonverbal signal, like a leg
Stomp his
kick,
foot
or
or-
maybe
yeah.
some guys go like this when he wants to snap. So
Snap it.
it's the right guard's job in this case to tap the center when it's time to snap the ball, and then the center's looking forward the entire time.
Just a teeny tap.
So you're supposed to just give him a little tap, then he snaps the football. So what ends up happening is the Falcons are claiming that they heard from 15 yards away, they heard Jalen Hawkins clapping, and so the center thought, we must be getting down on the play clock, I'm just going to snap the football. The rest of the offensive line, not the right guard, but the other three spots, they're watching the ball. So, when the ball moves, they move.
Right.
Which is why only the right guard stays in his stance.
Just runs right by him.
So
And then the center's like, I heard a clap for
Therefore,
something, coach. I don't know what.
Take advantage of bad football.
to his credit, Milton Williams rushed.
He
Right?
ain't waiting around.
Yeah, and so he went,
You wanna block
and
him?
he gets in the backfield immediately. But that's why 4/5 of the offensive line moved, and only the right guard was standing still. So the question is when you talk about, and this is what I think Vrabel was talking about, he kind of did a bad job of explaining himself yesterday. When you talk about like simulating a snap count, usually that's somebody up front that's clapping or yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So to blame it on a safety is like a huge leap, right? But that was
even
the whole
before
process.
Raheem Morris came out yesterday and said the thing he said. It's like, it kind of smells to me like the guy coming off the field being like, I don't
heard
know,
a
coach.
clap.
I think
I
I
heard a
thought I
clap.
heard a snap. I thought I heard a snap,
Yep.
coach.
Yeah.
That's
Like, what'd you do?
totally.
You
That's
know?
totally what it reeked of to me. You
Yeah.
guys know me. I would just to tweak Fred, I would jump in. Even
Oh,
if I
yeah.
didn't believe it, I would jump in just to tease Fred.
It would.
But I mean, Evan explained how
But
far away
I
Jalen
like
Hawkins
it.
was.
I like it, and because it's a sign that we're back, that we're being accused of
The
cheating.
only
So we're
thing,
back.
the only thing, in fairness, I do want to say the one thing I didn't like was kind of what Evan alluded to. Like, Mike, you watched the play, you did see a guy clapping. You claimed that, like, I've watched it several times. I don't see what they're talking. Like, there was a guy clapping. I think the way Evan explained it is exactly why Jalen Hawkins was clapping.
Right.
He's looking right at Carlton Davis.
Right.
I think he was doing some sort of signal
You see
to
that
him.
all the time.
And it happens all the time. And I agree with Evan. It's a good 10 to 15 yards away. He's like 10 or 11 yards behind the ball. Plus, he's sort of off to the, the offensive right of the formation.
Yeah.
So he's a good 15 yards away. There's no way that Snetter was
Tony thinks he
snapping
was
it off of
wearing
that.
special gloves that, you know.
They were, you have to admit, they were funny yesterday.
So I only heard like a clip.
Did you hear Felger? He goes, some guy calls in, he's all butthurt, and he goes, why do you think I do it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he goes, and the guy couldn't like figure out, he goes,
Right.
It's because it bothers you.
Because it bothers you.
I didn't hear the whole thing, but he was taught. He thought it was like the college offense, like we're clapping,
which it wasn't.
Which it wasn't. But I just really quickly, I don't want to like
Because it has to turn into a shotgun, dipsy do.
right. I don't want to give away too much of it, but the Patriots do not use their silent count in the same way that the Falcons do. And I think that the way they do it is better because there's less of like a chain of communication. So it's still just the center and quarterback communicating. So ideally you wouldn't have that issue because it's got to go from the quarterback to the guard to the center to, and then there's like a whole kind of game of telephone where it's just like waiting for a mistake to happen. So the Patriots do it a little bit different.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. More calls and emails after this. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
With FedEx One Rate, you can ship to your student for a simple, predictable flat rate. Send a box full of home-baked treats that say, "Your father and I miss you." Or send a box full of instant noodles that says, "Your father and I would like you to stop asking us for money." Either way, one rate fits all. FedEx One Rate. 2-day shipping, one flat rate. Starting at $14.50. Visit FedEx.com/OneRate for details. Exclusions apply.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
Morning. Good morning, Caleb. How you doing? I'm doing well. How you doing? Good.
What's your biggest takeaway from the review of the film this morning? Assuming did you get a chance to watch that?
Of course, yeah. Obviously, a well-fought game for sure. Obviously, I'm gonna be more critical on the defensive end and pick it up just as a bit much as we can. But I think it's an opportunity that we have some opportunities to take the ball away, and I think we got to seize those opportunities a bit more to make games not being so close and challenging. And I just think overall, like I said, I'm keep speaking for the defensive end, man. We flew around, we made quite some plays. Those guys are professionals too. They made some plays in their end, and we just got to make more plays in them for sure.
Caleb, how about you?
I was gonna say, Caleb, on big game this week, both two good teams. How much do y'all enjoy the opportunity to play games like that?
Pretty dope. Obviously, we get a chance to fight adversity and see much about ourselves. Like I said, a very talented team, regardless of what media aspects may say about them or whatever it is. But super talented on the field, man, and well coached. So we got the opportunity to fight adversity and see where we lies in the great battle of being tested, and we came out on top.
Ron, do you look at like the overall sack numbers, or you guys focus on other things too and say, hey, maybe we didn't get him on the ground enough this week, but pressure him, we move him off the spot, the intentional grounding, those sorts of things. Do you look at that and say, this number, yeah, we'd like more, but we're doing a good enough job.
Yeah, it's always like a hard balance to try to find between two because you want the numbers and you want the sacks for sure. But we find ways to affect the quarterback in whichever way we can. Like you said, the intentional groundings, man. We had a safety last week, you know what I'm saying, just getting the ball out and we're just causing a lot of quick throws and havoc up front to, wherever it is, get an extra clutch or cause some type of disruption within routes and QB timing. So everything matters, obviously, when it comes to getting to the quarterback. But I can tell you that this front is still hungry. We know that we're capable of much more than what we put on film.
You said you're more focused on the defensive line, but after watching the tape, it seems like the defensive backs specifically were really involved in the run game. What does it mean to you as a guy who's in the trenches, seeing defensive backs being involved and playing physical against that kind of rushing attack?
No, that's super dope. That's super dope, man. Seeing Carlton come in, hit, Gonzo come in, hit, man. So it's not too many times where you can see corners being as physical as those two, and they come in and they make plays regardless and without any type of hesitation. So pretty dope to keep having everybody, all 11 involved in the run game and take pride in that. And we know those can get us opportunities in the pass game for sure. So I credit to those guys for continuing to show up, man, and I hope that we continue to do that all year long.
Kayvon, did you hear after the game the Falcons are talking about on that intentional grounding play? I guess they heard some clapping from your side of the line of scrimmage. Did you hear anything like that? Were you guys clapping before the snap there?
Yeah, this is my first time hearing about it, so I wasn't aware of that. But I would hope that we don't do that. We play the game fair and we go out and do whatever we can to win.
You're the one after facing a couple young quarterbacks the last 2 weeks. Now you go up against a veteran this week, and I know you probably haven't dived into Tampa Bay yet. But when you look ahead to Baker Mayfield, the kind of quarterback he's been playing against a guy like that, how do you prepare during the week for him, the offense they run?
Man, Baker is a great quarterback. I think we all have been kind of watching him excel and getting better and better each year and each year, especially as he's getting comfortable with the system. So it's going to be a thing about obviously getting them off their timing and off their rhythm, man. They're very good at their script and kind of just making sure, just methodically getting downfield. And he takes whatever he can get. And then when those explosives show up, they got some fast guys at receiver and making plays. So it's going to be one of those, man, everybody kind of have to just be dialed in and focus into their details, man. Those guys are going to make plays, but we're going to have to make sure that we make more plays than they make.
You guys are all pretty historic run right now with not allowing any running backs to get over 50 yards. Is that something you're aware of heading into the week and wanting to continue that streak? Or is it something that you don't really think about?
I think it's more of an outside noise than internal. We don't really mention it much in the building. We take pride in being a great run defense for sure, though, but we don't really mention much about stats and kind of like what's the running back average against us. But it's a dope stat to have for sure, man. Once again, I was speaking about yesterday post-game, man, I think it's a mentality that we carry within the defense, man. Just continue to be stout in the run game, be gap sound, and put ourselves in positions to where we can pin our ears back and get out to the quarterback.
Did you happen to see Will Campbell's tackle?
Say it again?
Did you happen to see Will Campbell's tackle?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to.
I just wanted to ask you just about your season, just sort of as a whole. I start with the 5.5 sacks, which is career high. Is there something about what's happening with you individually, this team, this scheme, that is maybe bringing out the best in you? Like, what are you feeling? What do you see?
I mean, it definitely helps playing with the guys I play with, for sure. Got some exceptional defensive backs, exceptional guys on the inside, Milton, Christian, Harold on the opposite end, getting to the quarterback. So when everybody is kind of making sure they're winning their one-on-ones and dominating in their role in the game, man, I think it makes everybody's job a bit more easy, especially when you can just focus on winning your one-on-one battles. So credit to everybody that's on the field within, man. I think that's all this goes into. Started off in OTAs. When we continue to build that chemistry and that ground and kind of just see how we want to get to the quarterback and how we, willing to rush as a unit rather than individual pass rush. So it's been dope. It's been dope to have a season like this for sure, but I give all credit to everybody that's on the field with me for sure.
Specifically, how has he distinguished himself as a player, his physical skills, but the effort and even his leadership, in the locker room?
Oh, yeah. So, Milt's dope. Obviously, he knows what a championship contender team looks like, and he definitely voices his opinion when he speaks to that. He might not be as loud, rowdy guy, but He knows when things not looking right and when things kind of looking or going in the right direction. So Milt keeps us all on the right path, man. Whether it's with Christian, Harold, or me, especially when we out there rushing together. Some things that he sees, especially if it's a slide protection or if he has a one-on-one matchup, or if he's just seeing some different sets between the pair of a guard and tackle. He steady talking about it on the sideline and trying to make sure we're on the same page. So pretty dope to have Milt with us. I think. I was that 2 years ago. He was a part of a crew that had 72 sacks in the season or something like that. So he knows how to get to the quarterback. He knows what it takes. So super dope to have him inside with us for sure.
I'm curious, your view of the trade deadline, being on a team that's been as successful as it's been to this point in the season. Do you look at the trade deadline and say, man, it'd be great to bring somebody in here to help us get even better? Or how do you look at it when you're part of a winning team the way you guys have been?
Yeah, that's a question I don't really have an answer for. I don't really kind of dig too much in that. Man, I control what I control, and that's my play on the field. Hopefully I do everything I can to make sure that we continue to go in this direction for sure, though.
Okay.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for today.
And now, great moments in history.
I was told that I said carry on wrong. I said carry on. It's carry on.
Like one word?
Oh,
no,
like on a plane.
Like the bag. It's a carry on
Not
bag.
Winston Churchill.
Not carry on.
Keep calm and carry on.
It's the accent.
Do the read before we get in trouble.
Okay. Only liquids allowed, blood, sweat, and tears. Catch Carry On. December 13th, only on Netflix.
Okay, these things intrigue me.
Yeah.
So, a carry-on that you would carry on to an airplane is pronounced differently than carry on.
Yeah, carry on. So,
like carry on,
right,
Paul,
no, I love
proceed,
this. Yeah,
carry on.
Paul, right.
I carry on my bag.
Are you going to bring your carry-on?
I feel
This is
like
my carry-on.
I feel. Thank you. I feel like I'm saying these two things the same.
What you just said was
Am I wrong?
But Paul, you just said that's not. You didn't use it as a noun. You used it as a verb. You said I carry on my bag.
No.
That's not what it is.
No,
it's a carry-on bag.
It's my carry-on. No, it's not my carry-on. It's my carry-on.
My carry-on bag.
My carry-on bag.
Yeah. But when
Again,
you say
I'm saying it the
when
same
you say
way.
carry on,
I'm not changing the way
carry
I say
on.
it.
Carry on.
Carry on.
Carry
You
on
don't-
the conversation. It's my carry-on bag.
you-
I'm saying it the exact same.
No,
I'm
you
not
don't.
putting any
No,
emphasis
no.
on any
You
difference.
stress the
No.
carry or the on.
Paul,
carry
it's
on.
different. Listen,
Carry on.
listen,
Carry on.
listen. Carry on.
Carry on.
You put the emphasis on when
Right.
it's a verb.
Yeah, on.
Okay.
On.
I don't, but
You do.
if
You
you
just
do-
don't. You want to admit it, but you do. You're just being
I
stubborn.
started the whole thing by
and
saying
you've got
I'm
that hood.
I'm
You've got
intrigued.
that hood shirt on.
And that's why it's getting
so
under
you're
your
really
skin.
being stubborn.
That's why it's getting under your skin.
That's another great moment from
All right, couple announcements. Deuce, you want to show off your boots? Your Brunt boots?
that.
What about yours, Freddie?
Yeah. So I got mine on too.
I have my Brunt quarters.
Brunt Bros.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'm sorry, guys.
And
High five.
you can get these boots on the Brunt Workwear site for $10 less than what they say. All you have to do is go to bruntworkwear.com/Pats or use the coupon code PATS when you check out. You can get these boots for $10 less than they sell for because Brunt Workwear makes work boots and apparel built for the work job site, an official sponsor of the New England Patriots and the Gillette Stadium Field Crew. You buy those, you'll see how comfortable they are.
They're great.
What do you think?
I love them. I was a little hesitant to break them out because they look so nice. But once you start wearing them and your feet get attached to them, and I feel pretty good.
Like
Yeah,
they're
cool.
almost too nice to work
Good
at,
style.
do work in.
Yeah, we had to
wouldn't-
explain to Paul today, and those are fashion boots.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are not.
That's Fred's theory.
Those
So
are not
I
work
broke
boots.
down and I bought another pair of Brunt work boots, the Sullivans,
that are true
that
work
are
boots.
more work boots.
Right. These are
Yeah.
these are
Now
fashion.
you can, if you
items.
want to use them for work, you can. It's up to you.
Yeah, your choice.
You know. Also, Bob's has something to say. Sunday night games got you up late, sleep better, and save big with a mattress-based combo from Bob's Discount Furniture. When you bundle and save at Bob's, you can get a top-rated copper sport hybrid mattress packed with pressure relief and cooling copper threads that help you chill out after the fourth quarter. Paul could use it after the refs, ruin his night. Plus, an adjustable base made for sitting up to watch the last play for $100 less than buying them separately. Score! So stop in and stock up at Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots. And then one more thing I want to mention is that this is Salute to Service Week around the NFL and with the Patriots. And it's every team honors one person, and usually, you know, a player that has a service member in a family, or, you know, we had Joe Cardona, who was actually in the Navy while he was here. But this year, the Patriots honored Fred Waggett, who works at our security. He's been here for years. You know, he's been here since '09. He served in the Army and the Navy. His deep commitment to honoring fellow service members, especially those who never returned home, is reflected in his every action. Fred's quiet gestures of remembrance have become a meaningful tradition within the Patriots community. After each event, he thoughtfully places flowers at the POW MIA seat as a tribute. You can see that in the north end zone. On Memorial Day, he ensures fresh flowers are placed there, a powerful symbol of his reverence for those lost in service. When the north end zone was renovated and the row of honor relocated, Fred saw an opportunity to preserve and extend its legacy. Collaborating with Jim Nolan, who's our COO, he secured the original POW MIA seat and arranged for its permanent display in the town of Foxborough, complete with a commemorative plaque. So thanks to his initiative, this is a public reminder in Foxborough of the courage and commitment of those who serve.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Well, very much
good
well
for
deserved.
Fred.
Yeah.
We see him around all the time. Great guy. Served in both the Army and the Navy.
Really?
Wow.
That's interesting.
I
How
thought
did
that was
come about?
frowned upon.
Yeah, how does
I'm
that come
only
about?
kidding.
It's pretty amazing, though.
Well, you re-enlist. I
He
guess.
re-enlisted after 9/11.
What's that?
Oh,
Re-enlisted after 9/11.
okay.
Okay. Well,
Really?
Good for him.
'Cause He's
He
an
worked,
older
with
guy.
Nextel and helped get cell phone service back on in New York after 9/11. And guy's done a lot.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. All right. That's
Thank you.
great.
Wow, that's
cool.
amazing.
Good stuff. Fred Waggett. All right. I believe his full name is Wilfred.
Oh, he's not a real Fred. He's
Is that right?
Friedrich?
I will confirm. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to the phone, shall we? We'll start with Eldred, North Carolina. What's up, Eldred?
Whoa, that's a powerful one.
Hey, fellas.
Hey,
How y'all
hey.
doing?
Hey, sir.
There's
Hey,
a couple
Paul,
extras there for AD Mitchell.
Agree with you 100%, Paul. Agree with you 100%. Let's go ahead and go all in. Hey, but there's a question I saw on the website. Stephen A. Smith reporting. I know darn well we didn't sign no Michael Corley from the Jets. And he said
Malachi Corley?
Yeah,
What
and they got-
website are you reading
He's
this?
on Cleveland, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
fall.
he
That's
used
not
to be
your
the
kind of
Jets
guy,
team,
Eldred.
but now, but he's a slot guy. He's not.
Yeah.
Gadget
No, no,
player.
He's kind of a gadget guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, gadget player.
Yeah, something like that. And they also got a picture of him sitting in a Patriots studio signing like he's signing the contract.
I think
And
you
that's
got
why I
God,
wonder, have y'all heard
Eldred.
that? Have y'all seen it? So, well,
Yeah.
I think I got
Yeah, man.
Stephen A. Smith.
That's AI.
Yep.
Well,
You got to watch out for that. Yep.
Yeah, but Paul, I agree with you, man. I tell you what, Evan, give a third to Green Bay and give me Christian Watson. I wanted him too. How about that one for the outside?
Take him. Sure.
Y'all have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Eldred.
I think he's hurt again.
Yeah. Let's go to Willem and Phillip. What's up, William? You haven't called in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm off today. How you doing, Fred?
Good. Good.
Okay. My question, well, it's not even so much even a question. It's a take that Paul and Evan had talked about, which was, if I'm saying his name right, Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State.
Yeah.
And y'all said, I think Paul Werder's quote basically was, can we get a receiver in the 2026 draft plan? I know 2027 is way out, though. But I'm just saying, look, you got a dual threat quarterback. I don't know how long his deal is, but don't waste it. You know, when you had Mac Jones on a rookie deal, you didn't even really put nothing around him. But now you got this guy. Just don't waste it. You know what I mean? And John Smith, regardless of what you say about him, Evan, you know, he would be perfect for New England. And we've been waiting for a receiver like this, man.
William, he's going to be the
You know what I
first
mean?
overall pick in the draft.
We love Jeremiah
Yeah,
Smith.
And I don't give a damn. I'm giving up all my picks to get him.
Okay, well,
I
that's
got
not
my
going to get it done.
My left tackle. If I got my quarterback, my left tackle, and whatever else we get this year, why not?
Okay, that was the point we were just trying to make. Patriots are on a trajectory now. They're picking in the 20s in 2027. Like I don't know how you're getting from 22.
Jeremiah Smith is a
generational
stud. Absolute stud.
Yeah. Okay, so why I was talking about getting Jordan Tyson and knowing you'll be far out and then you got a trip to go get him.
No, I don't think you would. Yeah, Jordan Tyson's like projected right now to be like a mid-first round pick. Probably go somewhere in the teens. So, I mean, you're talking about the Patriots make the playoffs, like you're trading up, I don't know, 5 to 10 spots, for a guy like Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. So, like, we're not talking about having to trade up into the top 3 of the draft to get him.
Right. I understand all that. I really do. It's just that we've been clamoring for this number one for what? For how long now? And we passed up on, like, we could have had Hopkins in his prime. We could have had Diggs in his prime, even though we got him later. We messed up on DK Metcalf. The list goes on and on. We just missing out every time. But now here comes this guy that's coming out 2027. And yes, we're going to be far away from getting him. But I mean, what are you going to do?
Yep.
I'm just saying, you got this dual threat quarterback. He's on a rookie deal.
Yep. Get him some weapons, is what you're saying. Yep.
I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that.
All right, thanks, William.
I don't know how. There's not a path to get Jeremiah
Just
Smith.
not going to get Jeremiah Smith, I guess.
Yeah.
Just continue same old thing from the Patriots.
Right.
I would love to get Jeremiah Smith.
I mean, maybe if they, Commanders it and they go regress next year,
I think
then they can get Jeremiah Smith.
That was
It's a
good.
verb now. I like it.
But you also, like, the whole premise of, well, you have this young quarterback, and I pointed out that you can't get him in 26, so it's 27. So now you've ostensibly paid Gonzalez, and you're going to have to pay May. So the whole premise is kind of out of whack too. So now you're going to do that, and you're going to trade God knows what to move up to get to 1 from the 20s. If things go well,
you're talking about 3 first-round picks,
right? And that's all I'm saying. Like
right.
Jeremiah Smith, there's nobody who watches college football that wouldn't say that he's one of the best players in college football.
Oh,
He might have been the best player in college
year.
football last year.
Yeah.
I just, when it comes to receiver, I mean, if you're talking about May and his rookie contract, then you're talking about paying a veteran receiver with the extra cap space, next offseason going out and trading for A.J. Brown, trading for Jalen Waddle, who might be more available in the offseason than he is now, doing something like that, which we're all for. Like, you're not getting Jeremiah Smith. Like, unless again, they have a very bad regression next year and they end up, missing the playoffs. Like, I guess maybe we can have that conversation, but I think that there's a real chance in 2027 he goes first overall. So I just don't know how you're going to be able to pull that off.
Let's go to Andrew in LA. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, what's up, boys?
Hey.
I don't know if this got brought up earlier in the show, but I see a huge margin of error that we didn't have the last few years with various quarterbacks that were on our team. It kind of dates back to Brady, where we have this huge margin of error that we can make all these mistakes and still come out with a victory. I don't know if you guys have seen this recently.
Yeah. But I think we talked about it like literally during the game last week, where I remember leaning back and saying to Paul, like, it's just so different to feel like, oh, it's 3rd and long. Like, there's still a chance. Like, last couple of years, it felt like you got the 3rd and 6, and it was like, oh, boy, this is going to be a big ask on this one.
In that regard, I would agree. I think if that game unfolded the other way around, I would like to have seen if they were able to win it. If he had the first half that he had in the second half,
right,
and not the 21-point, head start that they had, I would have wondered. I would have,
Yeah.
It was incredible. Their ability to gain first downs from long down and distance
Been
on
impressive.
2nd and 3rd down is one of the best in the league and uncanny. Like 3rd and 13 first down. Like they're 2nd and long first down, you take a sack. 2nd and long first
it's been
down.
impressive.
Like
and it's been that
just
way almost all season too. It's not like 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, it's incredible how they've been able to do that.
Thanks, Andrew. Brian's in Delaware. Hey, Brian.
Hi. How you guys doing?
Hey, Brian.
Good.
I wanted to ask this. Since Keyshawn Booty might be out, do you think Pop Douglas is going to have a bigger season coming into this Bucks game?
No, I think it might be Kyle Williams, and that's what Mike Vrabel kind of said yesterday. That or was it Friday? Their days are starting to go together.
Yesterday,
But
he said that Booty's day to day. We should probably update that. Booty himself on one of these social media Discord.
It's the kids.
Sorry, he said nothing to worry about. It's just a grade 1 hamstring strain.
Now, what does that mean?
So
that's the least.
Vrabel
severe.
said yesterday that he will be definitely missing some practice time early in this week. So maybe we'll see if he can get back out in the practice field Thursday, or more likely maybe Friday. I'm kind of, as Fred likes to say, I'm not counting on him for Sunday, based on the way that Mike sounded. It's going to give Kyle Williams more of an opportunity. I wouldn't expect him to be a big part of the passing game based on what we've seen.
If this was a playoff game, maybe Booty would go. But we got a lot of football left, and they're going to need him. So I would err on the side of caution with him.
So there's 3 grades to hamstring injuries, 1, 2, 3. 1 is considered mild, 3 is considered severe. Based off the reporting, Christian Gonzalez had a grade 3 hamstring strain in training camp. That is usually around a 4 to 6 week injury. Grade 1 hamstring, it can only be like a week or 2 that they end up missing. But the tricky part about hamstrings is that you can make a hamstring worse. So if you come back too quickly and then you play on a iffy hamstring, then you can actually turn a grade 1 into a grade 3 awfully quickly, unlike other injuries.
My opinion only. No one's told me this. I think that's what happened to Christian Gonzalez, because if you remember the initial report on Gonzalez was day to day. Turned out to be 2 months.
Yeah.
I think something like Evan just described probably happened to Christian.
Camillo from Hartford. After the win over Cleveland, Drake May said, "We haven't been able to put together a full game, and honestly, truer words have never been mumbled over a Gatorade cooler. Every week, it's like the team is playing whack-a-mole. The offense pops up, the defense ducks, special teams. Well, they're the one friend who shows up late to the party but still wants credit for being there the whole time." So what are you guys seeing that's keeping this team from stringing together a full 60 minutes of complimentary football? Is it growing pains, a lack of discipline that makes you wonder if someone skipped team meetings, or did the football gods just forget to send the memo about playing all 3 phases at the same time?
That's really hard to do. I mean, like, it's not like every other team in the NFL are all putting 60 minutes. And you're right. It's a young team.
But it's talent. But you got to look at who the opponents are. Sometimes the other in a given game, like for example, we play the Falcons this game. They have a good pass defense, and so that showed up. In other games, you might play a team that doesn't, but they have.
I'm with Mike.
I
think people are looking for something that's probably they're not prepared for yet. They're not good enough to play 60-minute games.
But they're also like the game's over by the third quarter.
That happened a couple of times.
So I'm just saying, like, against the Titans, against the Browns, like
I would count those as 60-minute games. I think they play pretty, but like
I just
New
think
Orleans,
that they let
Atlanta,
the foot off the
Miami.
gas. Yeah,
they're not good enough to just dominate these teams for 60 minutes. Even though those teams aren't good, I don't think they're good enough to just say we're so much better than these teams. We're going to beat them. For Cleveland and Tennessee, they were good enough to do that too.
Yeah,
they weren't good enough to do that every game.
How many teams are right now? And usually the teams that do it string it together at the end, and then those are the teams that make a Super Bowl run. You're always shooting for it.
I agree with you, Mike. It's a hard thing to do.
It's a hard expectation to hold them against.
I think the Patriots have played pretty consistently at a pretty high level.
Yeah,
I think they're getting the most out of what they have on a pretty consistent basis.
I do think it's interesting though, and they're at like 26 a game right now, which is top 10 in the league, but they're right around the same scoring every single week unless they get like a defensive touchdown.
Right. They score in the low 20s every game.
Yeah,
I agree with you 1,000%.
So to the emailer's point, this was one of those games against Atlanta that you would have liked to have seen them put together one more touchdown drive to get it to 31, 30, somewhere around there, and that would have really probably put this game away.
They only had 3 points in the second half.
Right. Now, I like to think they missed the extra point, so it's not a tie game. Like, I would like to think that Drake May just takes him down the field and wins the game if it's 24-24, but he didn't have to, so that opportunity didn't present itself. But it is true. They kind of hover right around the mid-20s.
Sam and Charlotte, congratulations to Fred for correctly predicting Parker Roma would miss an extra point. Congratulations to the Falcons for missing the extra point and losing the game to get a higher draft pick because they knew they were not going to the Super Bowl. Oh, I don't think that's what happened. I don't think that's what happened. So, a lot of emails, tons of emails.
People are interested.
Yeah,
maybe read some.
It's
so, Freddie, I got a chance. I met a listener last night.
You met a listener.
The Northeastern BU basketball game. The play-by-play guy for Nesson, gentleman named Alex Vespoli, came up to me and said hello and said, I'm big PU fan. I listen all the time. He's got a 1-year-old at home, so he can't always participate in the show. He can't call in and stuff, but he loves what we do. He listens to us all the time. Faithful listener.
Oh, thank you.
Unfortunately, the bad guys
was
won
the game that you were at last night at Matthews?
Yes.
So do you have like a seat your seat and you go and everyone comes and pays
his
tribute
name
to you?
engraved.
So there was a little of that last night. I'm not going to lie. We haven't been to a game in a while. My brother and I went. We did not go to a single game last year. And people were like, people noticed.
A D'Angelo's move?
No. Just kids don't want to go anymore. You get tied up with things. And, now that the kids are in school, I called Rich. I said, "You want to go?" And it ended up being a disaster because someone intentionally hit us with their car on the way into the game last night. Yeah, seriously, I'm not exaggerating. Yeah. Someone intentionally hit us, knocked the whole front bumper of my brother's car off.
Intentionally?
Yes. He pulled up beside him very angrily and slammed himself into the side of my brother's car.
You're kidding me.
Called 911.
That's assault.
Yeah, that's assault, brother.
No, did you call the police?
He did. Yes.
Get his plate and everything? And then he took off?
He had this vacant stare the first time I told him this story.
This time he's nodding. He's nodding. You're like, let me spell it out for you.
And he took off, and you got his plate.
He took off. I took a picture of his plate. My brother called 911.
Nice.
And they already got him. The police have been in touch with my brother.
Good.
So they got the guy's insurance.
You know who he is? Like, where's he from?
No, I'm not getting into that because we didn't chase him down because of fear.
No, I know the guy's a nut, but
yeah.
wasn't.
I didn't know what we were going to be looking at. So
I mean, I asked Paul if that had been the Perillo brothers back in like 80s, 90s, we might have had.
Why
it might
was
have
he
come
so
to
mad
blows.
at you guys?
So I'm not really exactly sure. We took a turn. We took a left onto Mass Ave, and we got over to the left because it gets kind of congested in that area. It's by the Boston Medical Center.
Yeah.
It's Methadone Mile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of activity down there, and we tried to get over to the left because we're going straight. A lot of people are taking that right. A lot of people are going into the hospital and whatnot. And all of a sudden, the guy just beeps his horn, and then he speeds up like we cut him off. And I don't think we did. But, I don't know. I wasn't driving. I was probably just not really paying attention. My brother was driving, and he sped up right next to us. My brother kind of hit the brake a little bit, and the guy just barreled in. I mean, he intentionally hit our car with his. He had a big black pickup truck, 4-wheel Joe. So he didn't care. And the whole front of my brother's SUV, the whole front bumper and the grill, gone.
Wow.
When we were driving back the other way, I said, "Slow down here. We're never able to find your bumper." He was not amused.
That sucks, but that's weird. That's wild.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
And then we got a little afraid, not going to lie.
Yeah.
We were like, I don't know what this guy is. This guy going to
probably carry
shoot us or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just kind of, we waited for the cop who was supposed to come, and then we waited for like 5 minutes, and people were like coming up to the car. And my brother goes, "I ain't waiting around here anymore." We went to the game.
Wow. That's something.
Yeah.
Well, let me know what happens. I want to find out who this guy is.
Justice.
I'm not going to be telling who the guy is.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to lie. It spooked me.
Okay.
It was kind of scary.
Got assaulted.
Yeah. That's scary.
Yeah. That's like, Magnum PI out there, high-speed car chases.
The guy's
and all.
crashing his own stinking car to like inflict damage.
Right.
Like, I don't even care.
Really pissed.
He had a big pickup truck.
This injustice will not stand.
I think my brother has a I mean, my brother's SUV is not small.
Maybe he recognized you and heard you on the radio.
It wasn't.
Parillo.
This was another PU listener who doesn't like the show that much.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not Alex Vescola.
It wasn't Andy Hart, was it?
It was not Andy Hart.
Okay.
Roger in Foxborough.
All right.
I have an Andy Hart story for you off the air, though.
Oh, off the air. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Thordor from Iceland writes in, Happy Victory Tuesday from Iceland. I thought this game became unnecessarily close. And as was said in the post-game show, the game should have been closed out by halftime. But a win is a win, and we'll take it. I was wondering, what type of snowblowers are you working with? I live in a snowy area in Iceland, and I'm looking to buying a snowblower. You got to Aaron's.
Aaron's.
You got to take Aaron's. Ariens. Now, I don't know if they're sold in Europe. Might be
Not
under
with
a
that
different
spelling.
name, but Aaron's is where you want to go. Let me tell you, I bought.
Is that what you have?
Yeah, I bought an Aaron's years ago when I lived in Rentham. I don't have a garage or a shed big enough to put,
Ooh, big machine.
So it's been sitting outside for, I'd say, 7 years. Still runs like a top.
Wow.
Still runs like
cover
a
it
top.
up, though, right?
I have a
You'll think.
cover for it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that doesn't do much.
Are they a sponsor?
Yeah, absolutely.
See,
Aaron's
like,
is a
because like I
sponsor.
wouldn't say, I don't want to say because
No,
of the
Aaron's is
sponsors,
absolutely a sponsor, and I'm not saying that. I bought, like I said, I bought this like 7 years ago.
I mean, the guy's
Yeah,
calling it
no,
from
no.
Iceland, too. I mean, it's going to need a serious machine up there, I would assume.
Yeah.
It's a lot of snow. I mean, it's literally Iceland. I mean,
Well, actually, Greenland is more icy than Iceland. Did you know that?
It's a little Vikings thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
Well,
shovel.
in fact,
Deuce.
that we know we're the rightful heir to the throne.
Let's see. Somebody wants to talk about dead cat money. I don't think we want to go there.
I'm more than happy to
Oh, jeez.
mansplain dead cat money to this guy.
Not
David,
a
New
lot of dead
Hampshire.
cat money with sauce.
I'm pleased to report that at the Celtics game last night, I did not run backwards into Drake and Will like I did to Vraves and RKK earlier this year at the Celtics. Unfortunately, they couldn't pull out a win, but it was great to see the two of them locked into the game and courtside from start to finish.
That's true. On both accounts.
You weren't there, were you? No?
I was not at this one, no. I was watching.
Good Drake. Good Drake hype.
It's pretty disheartening. Not gonna lie.
a
Back
bad
to the
loss.
phones we go. Dan is in Daytona. Hey, Dan.
Hey, how's it going, guys? How you doing, Fred, Paul,
Hey.
Alex? So I got a couple tips for you guys today. I tried to call in on Sunday when during the post game. Paul, I do want to agree with you when you were talking about on Sunday, you and Mike. I wasn't overly impressed with the how the defense played throughout the game. They were just kind of wildly inconsistent. I just felt like I guess the whole team in general kind of took a rest after the first half. But I think Mike was saying on Sunday, like some of the players, Chase on, he was looking like an All-Pro, and then just towards the end of the game, they just died off. And that's kind of why I've been saying for the past month that I've been calling in that they really need to make a push for. I mean, if they think this year they have potential to go. I mean, I know everyone's saying, oh, they won't go deep in the playoffs, or maybe they won't make the playoffs, but I really think they just need to just bite the bullet. I'd hate to see them give up a first round just because I would rather them wait and collect more picks like they did this past draft, moving around the board and stacking up picks. So I'd like them in one way to not give up a first round, but I really do want them to get a pass rusher just because, if any of those guys goes down, we have no depth. We're essentially screwed, and then we're just kind of watching the playoffs like everybody else on our couch. So I would like them to, the front office. I know, Paul, your guys clown Elliott Wolf. So I don't know if his guys will actually, pull the plug on it. But I would like to see them do that. And then for the offense, I don't think there's too much at this point that they could do. Maybe adding Breece Hall, but I just really don't think that actually would happen. But I would probably be shocked if they did. I think that would be good if they did add that. You have another dynamic on the offense, and then you add a good pass rusher on the defense. I think that will help their chances. But I just see the Patriots kind of just patching it together and making it work. But I just don't want to see them, sitting on their couch watching the postseason like everybody else.
All right. Thanks for the call, Dan. Want to move. We want moves.
I think pass rush depth is a fair concern. I don't really know where this narrative's coming from that their pass rush has been bad. So I think that might be anecdotal, and that's fair, maybe.
I just think
I think Vrabel's been somewhat critical.
People have
of
been
it.
completing a lot of passes on
Yeah.
him, and it just never and I like it's such a this is
It's
where
not about near pressures.
I'm so concerned. Like I am so in this right now. Like you're right. Like all the numbers look good, and then I've watched all the games, and it's like, how many times recently did you feel like a quarterback was uncomfortable?
He kept saying that he agrees with
weird.
me on Sunday. I thought the defense played pretty well on Sunday. I was disappointed in the 85-yard touchdown drive.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, that also included a huge penalty that took a 3rd and 10 away. It was a 2nd and 10. It would have set up 3rd and 10. It gave him a first down, and then 2 4th down conversions. So it's not like they just let him walk.
Bomb.
Yeah, but it's not like they just let him walk down the field. Like it was a good drive by Atlanta. I'm giving them credit for doing it. Otherwise, I thought the Patriots defense played pretty well on Sunday.
Yeah.
You can't fault them. Much like I always take away the offensive points for the Patriots when they take over inside the 5-yard line. I'm not going to hang that on the defense.
Yeah.
Right.
When the Falcons take over on the 6, that's not the defense's fault.
Right.
I mean, you'd like to see the red zone defense be a little bit better. They're last in the league, but I think they played pretty well Sunday. The pressure, I think, has been very sporadic. I know you're probably going to point to some numbers that Mike is talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think they affect the quarterback that often. Sunday, I thought they did. I thought they got the ball out of Penix's hands a couple times.
Especially the second half.
I just think that, it's all it marries, right? Like to have good pressure, you also need to have good coverage, and to have good coverage, you need to have good pressure.
That's what Vrabel keeps talking about too.
I like the pressures, their pressure rate, their win rate, like all of that is really, really good.
Yeah.
But you can't blame the defensive line for the fact that there's open guys down the field to alleviate the pressure.
But so the type of pressure that they're generating, especially up the middle, it's perfect if you had that edge guy. Because he'd be cleaning up that like crazy.
Sure. And
that pressure he'd be having 15 sacks a year.
I guess so. I look at it a little bit differently, I guess. I think the issue that they're having is that the ball is coming out too quick because there's open guys. So when the ball is coming out as quick as it is, I don't care who you have rushing the passer. Like we saw this with Brady for 20 years. Like when the ball is coming out, like there's no way that pressure that they're generating is going to turn into sacks unless the coverage is making the quarterback hold the ball. So, you look at, the numbers, like they're 11th in pressure rate, they're top 10 in time to pressure, they're top 10 in win rate. Like their pressure, they are winning up front more times than not. What they're not doing is you don't see the consistent marriage of we have tight coverage down the field that's making the quarterback go through progressions and hold the football with the pressure and marrying that up. So you could argue that you could go out and get an edge rusher that can clean up and take advantage of Barmore and Williams on the inside, or you could argue that they need to cover better.
I mean, that's what we thought might happen with Keon White this year, but it didn't. And, we're hoping Chase's been pretty good. Landry's kind of fallen off a little bit. I mean, he might be a little banged up. Yeah,
I think that New Orleans, since the New Orleans game, he hasn't been the same guy.
Yeah. I think he's playing hurt.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that this is one that I'm gonna maybe just be on an island on. When I watch them play, I don't have concerns about them winning up front. They stop the run, they get off blocks, they get pressure on the quarterback. Penix was under pressure 45% of the time in this game. They haven't covered particularly great.
Yeah.
And I think when you don't cover, like these quarterbacks are good enough that they can make throws under pressure.
Yeah.
Do you think it's anything to do with a new play caller and maybe, I don't know. Sometimes it feels like first, second down, there's a lot of easy throws. And, to your point, like I find this fascinating, like everything you're saying and, looking at it myself you're right, like all the numbers match up and it looks good sometimes, but at the same time, I felt like some of these quarterbacks, young guys, have established a rhythm and just felt comfortable and haven't felt like, I don't know what the answer is. I think you're right, but at the same time, I'm like, Christian Gonzalez, by the way, that was just awesome to watch that back. Him going against Drake London, back and forth, two really good players. we're talking in a couple years whether or not they should re-sign Gonzalez. Some people might say they won't, but like I think this game's a great example of this is why you need a guy like Christian Gonzalez to at least make it competitive. But Marcus Jones just won Defensive Player of the Month. So you have really 2 top-of-the-line cornerbacks, and so are we pointing to the linebacker? I don't know what the answer is, and I'm not saying Evan's wrong or anything. There's so much going on right now with this defense that I can't exactly tell you if they're great or if they're very flawed and can get exposed.
I think the biggest thing with that I was encouraged about with this game is this is the first time where I've really seen them dictate matchups defensively. Gonzalez shadowed Drake London for most of the game until he got hurt, and then they also had some cool things with Bijan. Like when Bijan flexed out, Marcus Jones was covering Bijan. And so they had Marcus Jones shadowing Bijan.
How many catches did Bijan have?
He had 8 catches, but they were for like 50 yards.
40 or 50 yards.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of yardage. And so every time Bijan flexed out of the backfield as a receiver, he got Marcus Jones. So they haven't really been shadowing receivers like that as much this year. And I think the best man coverage defenses in particular do that to manage the matchup so that you don't get stuck with Christian Gonzalez covering their third receiver, and now Marcus Jones on Drake London.
Yeah.
So like that's sort of the goal there. So I thought that that happened a lot better. They did a lot better in this game with that, and outside of the red zone, Penix was 1 for 7 against man coverage in this game. The one was the bomb to London after Gonzalez left the game. The 25-yarder towards the end of the game was on Carlton Davis. So I think they did a lot better at managing matchups. There was a lot more like low help and robber help within the man coverage structures. So this was, to me, was a step in the right direction from a man coverage standpoint, and now you just hope that they can keep that going.
Andrew in L.A. says I hung up on him before he was able to share this stat. Before Sunday, teams that forced 6 sacks, forced 2 takeaways, threw 3 passing touchdowns, and committed 0 turnovers were 44-0 since 1964.
Yeah.
Now they're 44-1.
God, do I hate those.
Why? I think that's a great stat. Thank you, Andrew.
If it was raining, was it a Monday night or was it a Sunday?
Sounds like Evan
is it
feels
October?
like I do.
What did you think of Davis on that play though? Like he just kind of kept running. Like it was kind of weird. I was like, "Where's he going?"
Yeah, I mean, to his defense, like his extended play.
Yeah. No, it seemed like he thought the play was over and was kind of like slowing down and was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, but yeah.
It's late. It's late in the show. I want to be snarky, Paul, so bad. Does the stat also?
You can be snarky.
Does the stat also include snapping the ball when they're not ready, missing an extra point, and
doesn't matter. It happened.
But this is my point. Is like you're only talking about good things that the team.
I know, but
you're not talking about the litany of bad things that they did.
They had 44 other chances to do that, and we were the first team to do it.
Yeah.
45, I should say.
Hang the banner.
Bart in Poland, you can be snarky about this one, too. Sorry, Paul, but the play in the game wasn't an OPI on Hollins on that last play.
I don't think it was.
The NFL rulebook says offensive pass interference rules apply from the time the ball is snapped until the ball is touched. Hollins makes contact with the defender at the very same moment as Henry touches the ball.
I'm going to reiterate that. I don't think that should be called offensive pass interference. I said that Sunday, and I'll say it again today. So you agree with me, Bart?
It was a very well executed play.
I thought so.
It was a bang bang, but it was very well executed.
And Fred made the point of, let's just say for argument's sake, Mac Hollins isn't even there. The guy wasn't anywhere close to Hunter Henry.
That was the other thing that I was going to say.
Which is why I don't think it should even be considered to be pass interference. But I just said the referee can't take that into consideration.
Now, he gets the first down without the pick. He gets 17 yards because of the pick. Now, it doesn't matter. The yards doesn't really end up mattering. But I thought that it was they ran it a little differently this time. They kind of ran it as like a 5-step under instead of a slant. And that like little bit of extra time made it legal. If they ran it as a slant, it would have been a pick.
And I would just argue that I've seen that called many times. I don't want it called. I hate the referees. That's why Brad Allen and his crew got a special list on the good list.
Oh,
because he let them play.
Yeah.
That crew obviously lived up to their reputation of being one of the least penalized
And I
crews.
didn't see any outrageous things that weren't called.
No, the game somehow managed to unfold and anarchy didn't ensue because they didn't call a penalty on every play.
Scott wants to know simply, where are the screens? Where are the screens for the Patriots?
They run some screens. They don't
Screens,
run them very
I was
well.
gonna say, do you watch?
Yeah.
They try a couple every week.
They did run a good one. It was a downfield screen, but they ran one that got 19 yards on their opening drive. They kind of put Westover. They flexed Westover out, and they ran a little swing pass to Henderson that essentially is a screen. It gets thrown
They
down.
tried
the
another
field,
one to Henderson in the red zone that got blown up for like a yard. They
Yep.
tried another one that almost ended up in a pick six. And luckily, Will Campbell was bothering Jalen Walker
the swing
enough.
pass. Yeah, I didn't like that throw.
Yeah, no, that was a terrible throw. That was
Yeah.
one of the Shaky Drake throws.
Yeah, you can't make that.
Tim in Boston writes in, he says, I'm okay with some of the sacks. When the first few reads aren't there, Drake often tries to go straight through the middle of the line upfield, and he's taken quite a few sacks where he gets caught from behind and falls forward for a loss of a few yards. I'm okay with this particular type of sack because when they don't catch him, he can usually turn it into a first down run. The sacks where he holds it for too long are a problem, and I'd rather see him throw it away or try to run.
Yeah, I don't know. I've already said my piece on the
Yeah.
sacks. I want to see him play quarterback.
Yeah.
Like
In general, I like throwaways.
Well, that's what was most exciting about, a few games ago when it really felt like it was all clicking and he was making through the progressions and he wasn't so quick to bail. And, that to me was the biggest positive sign. Hopefully he can get back to it.
If
but-
it's third down and you got to make a play and you try to make a play and you get sacked, okay. First down, just throw it away.
Yeah.
I don't need you to take out unnecessary hits to set up 2nd and 12.
Is this one of those things too where it's because Drake knows he's athletic, it's harder for him to do the Brady thing where it's like, oh, this is dead, I'm just dropping.
He keeps saying that. He keeps saying, I have to remember that this is the NFL and I can't outrun all of these guys like I did in college.
Yeah.
He has said that several times over the last, say, month.
Yeah.
Some like variation of that.
If there weren't open receivers, like I wouldn't be as harsh on him about it. Like there's just too much. The tape is the tape. Like there's just guys open that he's passing up to try to run.
Joe in Michigan, on this point, May not seeing a wide open receiver is way too critical, in my opinion. On any given play, a quarterback will not see all there is to see, especially one who knows his O-line can hold up for only so long. Patriots O-line is too porous in spots to give May and McDaniels any other option than get rid of the ball quickly. When in the rare occasion this kid has a good pocket, he simply does not miss.
I just I'm sorry, but I'm not asking him to go through to the 5th read in the progression. Like if you have 1 to 2, I can't ask him to go 1 to 2. Like, is he in high school? Like we're talking about an NFL quarterback. Like if we're not talking about
Didn't take long.
Like
9 weeks.
Look at this guy way over here. He's one.
Right.
Oh,
like
that's not what
we're not
talking about.
we're not talking about the Madden thing where it's like press B. No, like we're talking about progressions and quarterbacks going through progressions. Like I understand that we can't ever come at Drake for anything, but it's just like I want to see him, get better at these types of things, and I just think that for the large part of the last 2 or 3 games at least, that we keep talking about the same thing.
Yeah, that's the bottom line for me. I said it on our show. He took 34 sacks last year in whatever it was, 9 games. In 13 games. He's taken 34 sacks already. So he's getting hit too much. And whatever it is, going through progressions or knowing when to just hit the turf and live to fight another day. Those are things to preserve him over the course of an entire 17 game plus playoff season.
Like I'm not gonna when the crossing route's wide open right in front of him and he passes it up and takes a sack. Like that's. I'm sorry, I'm not going to say, oh, well, there's a million things going on. Yeah, like it's NFL quarterback play. Like there's a muddy pocket. Things are moving fast.
The thing that
That's
stood
the
out to
league.
me about the Diggs thing was we were watching it and it was like you could just tell pre-snap, Diggs is just going to run a little slant. He's going to be wide open right here. And, it's like, and then he takes a sack and you're like, damn, it was there. Like even we, I know we're up
Diggs
in the
is
press
going
box,
like
but
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Someone thinks Matt Judon would be perfect for what we need.
Maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know. It's different.
Let's see, Paul in the Colony. Please tell Paul and his brother to stop saying that guy intentionally struck their SUV. Intentional acts of violence are not covered by insurance. Random acts of stupidity are.
Oh.
It is being covered by insurance, and it was intentional. And the cop informed my brother that, saying that he could file charges.
That's right. It's assault.
Yeah.
Now
we're not going to do that.
Why not?
I already told you, fear.
Don't be afraid, Paul.
Yeah, well,
Sue everybody.
I'll sue you.
You own a piece?
He drove his car.
What do you think the answer to that is?
I don't know.
What do you think the odds are of me peeing myself if I held a piece or just not holding a piece? I'm a lover, not a fighter. I leave that to my son.
But Rich was like, open the glove compartment.
Do me a favor. I'm driving.
Rich, what is this?
Reach in there.
It's my hand cannon.
Rich,
we're going
Rich,
after
what are we
this guy.
doing?
Rich,
It's a
I
little
never knew.
surprising, you know. I've seen you angry before. I think.
I haven't been in a fight since like the 3rd grade.
Wow.
Well, I don't
probably,
know.
probably high school.
I've heard one of the old Foxborough
Patriots game?
Stadium.
Patriots
Not
game?
sure
A
about-
fight?
Well, that was
Oh, in
maybe
the
just
stands.
teeing
Yeah,
off on
no,
a
that's true. But I don't think the other guy thought we were fighting. He was too drunk. Is that the story you're talking about?
a drunk
96
guy?
AFC
That's the one I was
championship
thinking
game.
of, too.
Yeah.
My brother told me. My brother was. That's the common denominator in all of these. Rich is present.
Yeah.
Don't punch up. You're fighting against gravity. Pull him down, then we'll punch down on him.
Sure.
Big
Right?
Brother, lessons from
That's
Big
like,
Brother.
That's what they taught Anakin. Always take the high point in a
Well,
fight.
I mean, taught him is putting it lightly.
I
mean,
have the high ground.
He learned that lesson by
Right.
losing his legs. So,
Yep.
you know.
That's how
That's
he
right.
lost. Yeah, exactly. Burned
That
to
one
death.
Boston fan says positives. We play the Jets twice without Sauce now.
Yep.
Negatives.
Yeah.
The Jets have 2 first-round picks to build upon. Positive. It's the Jets.
It's the Jets.
You guys saw they got AD Mitchell too? Was
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
okay, I
2
didn't
firsts
hear
and
that
AD
part. I
Mitchell,
didn't hear
yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
So now they can get rid of Wilson.
Not a.
All right.
I'm not a.
We're going to
science
end
guy.
early.
No, take Mark because it says,
Oh,
please
I
take
didn't
my
see
call.
that. I didn't see that. Sorry,
hi,
Mark. We'll go
Mark.
right to you now. Mark's in Connecticut. Hey, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Guys, thanks for taking my call. I don't know if you guys talked about this earlier, but what a joke of the Atlanta Falcons accusing us of clapping during the last snap. I mean, I've looked at this play, Evan. I've looked at this play several times. And Paul, I have not seen anybody on the defense clap. And I just wanted to get your guys' take. Did you guys see anybody clap?
Yes.
Yes, Jalen Hawkins.
Jalen Hawkins clapped, but he was clapping at Davis to get his attention. And Evan, I think if you rewind the show, or if you didn't catch it, Mark, earlier in the show, Evan explained it. I think, he doesn't know for a fact 100%, but I think what he says makes perfect sense as to what transpired
And that's why Raheem
everybody
Morris-
moved except for the right guard.
And that's why Raheem Morris backtracked.
Right.
Because he probably
Gotcha.
watched the same thing and said, that's ridiculous. There's no reason why you would snap the ball because of that clapping.
Right.
I think that's why the coach
Raheem
said,
Morris
"No,
was just
that
being
wrong."
told by his players. He repeated it after further review. Like Paul said, he backtracked.
I wouldn't be surprised if he actually called
Mark,
Vrabel.
listen, Mark, I agree with you. They're all against it. Us, everybody hates us. The networks,
Because
the
they're
other
jealous
teams,
of us.
they don't want us to be
we're
back.
so
That's
weak,
why
we
they're
would
not
say.
doing a deal with us today. No one wants to help us. I get it, but don't worry about this one.
Well,
Don't worry
the
about
owner,
this one.
she's upset. She's all butthurt.
Yep.
Mike Vrabel leaving.
That's right.
Next,
That's
you say
right.
don't be upset about this
All
one.
right,
Next
Mark,
thing you know
thanks.
would be
Good last
Draft
call. I
picks
love
or-
it. All right, that's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. Catch 22 tomorrow at 10.
Yes.
Barth okay?
Barth's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's all right.
Is he thinking about
He'll be sad.
playoffs and
He's
Super
sad
Bowl
about
yet?
Parker Romo.
And whether or not he'll be able to go down over to Santa Clara?
He's more sad about Penix, I would say, because
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was all in on Penix.
Yeah, he's all in on Penix. But no, he's good. He's doing great.
Okay.
Very busy.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, this is Alex. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.